Hello, freak bitches. We're back. This episode is brought to you by Ting. Ting is the official cell phone provider for the Joe and His Man's podcast. Ting is a cell phone provider. I got one right here. This is a Ting phone. This is my Samsung Galaxy Note 5. It's pretty dope. I like the fingerprint thing. It's pretty sweet. The fingerprint thing is sweet, and the fact that it's waterproof is pretty sweet, too. What it is what Ting uses is the Sprint backbone. They use a Sprint network, but they do it their way with no contracts, no early termination fees, no ride-alongs or bundling, and no bullshit that you ordinarily have to deal with if you deal with most cell phone providers. Most cell phone providers also have their billing set up for what, like, say if you have 100 minutes a month, but you only use like 10, which is, by the way, what you probably use. Most people don't fucking call anybody anymore. If you call someone for 10 minutes a month, you're a weirdo. Unless you're doing business. You might understand if you're doing business. But the point is, with Ting, you only pay for what you use. They used to have it so that, like, they would credit you on your next bill and knock money off your next bill if you didn't hit their like if you ordered 100 minutes but you only used 80, they would credit you that on your next bill. But then they realized, like, why are we doing that? Why don't we just charge you for what you use? Like, that's the most logical way to do it, and that's how Ting does it now. So I think every cell phone company is going to be forced to do it that way, because that's what it should be. If you use more, you pay more. But if you're like a heavy data user especially, Ting is an awesome way to go. Ting actually just dropped their rates because of their second-year anniversary for no reason other than they got a better deal, and they said, fuck it, man. We're going to continue this path of being an ethical cell phone company with just a good idea. The good idea is, like, to not fuck people over. Give them something that's a good service that you can get at a good rate, and you feel good about the transaction. Whereas, you get those overage fees, or you get, some fucking early termination fee, and it's like hundreds of dollars, and you're like, fuck off, man. You feel robbed. Well, Ting has it set up so you don't do anything like that. 98% of people would save money with Ting, and that's because they do mobile differently. The average monthly bill per device for Ting customers, it's $21. That's pretty fucking cheap. And if you go to rogan.ting.com, you will save $25 off of any of their devices. They have a wide range of cell phones, including iPhone 5s and all the greatest and latest of the Android models, including the LG Nexus 5, the Samsung Galaxy S5, which is what I got right here, and the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, if you just can't have it big enough. Rogan.ting.com, save yourself $25. We're also brought to you by Audible. If you go to audible.com/Joe, you can get a free audio book from the #1 provider of audio entertainment on the internet. Audible has been around for a long fucking time, and I've always been a big fan of audiobooks. It makes it so much easier. And if you have this Amazon Kindle Fire HD, Amazon has this it's their version of a tablet, like a Galaxy tablet. And if you get one of those from Amazon, the Kindle Fire HD, and you get this thing called Whisper Sync, it's fucking crazy. You read the book, so if you're at home, you're sitting in bed, you read the book, and then when you get to a certain page, it syncs up with the Audible version of it in your car. So you get in your car, and then you listen to the audio version of the book. So it's like it keeps going for you. It's like you read when you can, and then they'll read it to you in between, which I think is pretty fucking awesome. And if you want a free audio book, you can pick from over 150,000 titles, including Life of the Party by our pal Bert Kreischer, actually read by Bert Kreischer.
That's cool.
You can get that shit for free if you go to audible.com/Joe. Can't say enough good things about Audible. Like I said, they've been around a long time, and they have over 150,000 books to choose from, including radio shows, podcasts, comedy specials. They have all kinds of shit. They have the Opie and Anthony show. That's not even Anthony anymore.
I was a sophomore, I was out of the dorms, and a full-fledged brother of my fraternity.
That's Bert Kreischer. I think we're violating copyright by playing it over the air, though. Anyway, audible.com/Joe. Go there, my friends, and get yourself a free audiobook and 1 free month of Audible service. That's right, sweet bitches. Amazing. Also, we're brought to you by Onnit.com. And right now, it is September 3rd, and it is 3 p.m. West Coast time, which means there's 1 day, 20 hours, and 58 minutes and 6 seconds to go with the 72-hour sale. 72-hour sale, 15% off everything. You use the code SEP72. It's like the short for September, and then 72 for the amount of hours in the sale. If you hear this after that, then just use the code word Rogan, and you could save 10% off any and all supplements, but it doesn't work on everything. This 15% code right now, works on everything. What On It is a human optimization website. That's what we decided to call a website where we sell shit that does good things for you, whether it's get you in shape, whether it's give you healthy snack options like the Hemp Force protein bar. Super healthy, very delicious, very good for you. Hemp, very easy to digest, one of the easiest proteins to digest. We have Hemp Force powder, and that Hemp Force powder is the finest protein powder we could buy. The most expensive stuff. It's all of it comes from Canada because the United States is a fucking crazy place that will be mocked in the future. In the future, when they look back at the marijuana laws and how preposterous they were and how they affected its cousin, its non-psychoactive cousin hemp. And that's what hemp is. I mean, it's not the version of marijuana that you use to get high. It's a non-get-you-high plant, and it's still illegal because it's related to the get-you-high plant. It's the male version of the species. The female version of the species has the buds, which you get your THC from. To answer your questions, because I know a lot of people have questions about protein powders that involve hemp or any products that involve hemp, you cannot test positive. If you have a job that tests you, they make you pee in a cup. First of all, if you do have a job like that, strategize your way to get the fuck out of that fucking jail. Some dickwad doesn't let you take a hit off a joint on your weekend because they're worried about you losing productivity for your fucking slave job on Monday. Fuck them. Is that your phone, Dom?
You're not turning off.
No, just answer it. Start calling people. Shit, fuck it.
I want to do the show.
Anyway, Hemp Force. You can only test positive if you smoke weed while you're eating Hemp Force. But I should tell you that if you eat bagels that have like poppy seeds on them or anything with poppy seeds, you test positive for heroin. As crazy as that sounds, but it is absolutely true. If you're going in for a heroin test or any sort of a drug test, if you eat poppy seeds, you will test positive for heroin. It's very strange. Doesn't happen with hemp. Go to onnit.com, ONNIT, and browse our lovely selection of strength and conditioning equipment, as well as foods, supplements, all that good shit. And use the code word Rogan. You'll save 10% off all supplements. And as of today, at 3:04, Wednesday, September 3rd, there is 1 hour, or 1 day, 20 hours, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds to use the code word SEP72 to save 15% off everything. That's onnit.com, ONNIT. And that DeathSquad.tv for all the new cats that Brian has put together on hats and T-shirts and all kinds of different shit. Brian has a full fucking selection of all artwork that he's created, by the way. If you see all of this stuff and you buy into these things, you're absolutely supporting the artist himself, because Brian created all these, he put it together, and he used our friends at Squarespace to design this website and to sell it all.
Which has been a pleasure. It's the best website creator ever. For the money, anyone that wants a website, totally use it.
There you go, Squarespace. You got a free plug.
Sorry.
Kapow! No, I'm 100% in support of you. I love Squarespace. And anyway, DeathSquad.tv or Shop Squad. What is it? ShopSquad.com?
.tv.
ShopSquad.tv, which is a link that you can get to directly from DeathSquad.tv. But DeathSquad.tv will have not just this, but the all the addresses and times for the comedy podcasts like Kill Tony, which I did with my brother Dom Irrera. What a time we had, Dom.
We laughed.
What a time.
We laughed and are laughing.
It was a very fun time.
That was great.
All that information, all the different shows that Brian promotes, as well as his gigs that he's doing on the road, all of it is available at DeathSquad.tv. And then ShopSquad.tv if you don't want to just cut to the chase and start spending shekels. All right, that's it, folks. Me. What am I doing? I got September something or another. I'm in fucking Toronto. Let me find this because I didn't have it in front of me. But
what are you doing, Massey Hall, Joe?
I am doing the Sony Center. I like Massey Hall, but it was already booked. But I did the Sony Center before too. It's pretty fucking dope. Sony Center for the Performing Arts with Tony Hinchcliffe, Friday, September 26th. Joe DeRosa was supposed to be here tomorrow, but he had to. He got an acting gig. The kid's got talent. You can't hold him back. So Tony's taking his place, and Joe DeRosa will be here next Wednesday. In the future, I have Rupert Sheldrake and Graham Hancock are going to be coming up. I got a lot of good guests, real solid guests. Mike Dolce is going to be here next week, and like I said, Joe DeRosa will be here next week. All right, that's it. Boom, shalak, lock, boom. Oh, Ice House. I'm going to be at the Ice House in Pasadena September 12th and 13th. What is that, like the weekend after this one, with Tony Hinchcliffe. All right, that's it. Cue the music. Dom Irrera's here. I fuck around. Why?
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Dominic, me brother.
Hello, Joe, for fuck's sake.
For
Look
fuck's
at you
sake.
sitting up there in your high
Yeah,
horse.
he asked me if I was David Letterman in them. I should tell everybody about this chair. This is my latest device to try to mitigate back pain from sitting, and it's called I think it's called a Sally. Yeah, Salli, and it's a saddle chair. It's like a saddle. So if you see how it's sitting here, no one's endorsing this. I'm just telling you. It feels. I'm going to tell you this. They would hate me endorsing this because it feels like shit. It's like the least comfortable chair I think I've ever sat in.
The
my fucking
anti-commercial.
life. But it's very good for your back. It makes sure you can't sit any way other than like this. Like, you have to sit, like, straight up. You can't, like, slouch in this thing. It just doesn't support it. And when I sit in a regular chair, by the end of the podcast, my fucking neck starts to hurt. Like, my back, like, around here where I've been injured, starts to hurt.
Wouldn't that like stretch your asshole out though, and like give
That's
you
what I'm trying to
hemorrhoids?
do.
Yeah. Make it easier for...
If I ever do wind up going in the pokey, I want to be...
Just gaping soon.
No, it doesn't do anything to your asshole, you fucking idiot.
Well, I mean, look how you're sitting though. It's like your butthole is spread
No,
apart,
I'm
isn't it?
squeezing. No, you're not listening. The whole idea behind this is it's like a saddle. If you sit in a saddle, you actually kind of have to hold yourself in place. So by squeezing your legs together, it's not opening your butthole. You're actually squeezing everything tight. So if you were a gal and you wanted to have one of these, I figure it would probably be good for the old vajayjay. It'd probably tighten that baby up. Like, women are supposed to like do those Kegel, not supposed to. Supposed to, if they care about treating a penis correctly with their vagina, they do those Kegel exercises where you squeeze your vagina and you can actually make it stronger. There's some crazy bitch in Russia that's like the world record holder for the amount of weight she can carry with her pussy. But it's something substantial, like 50 pounds. So she shoves a dildo in her pussy, attaches it to a fucking kettlebell, and does squats holding this dildo in her box just with her shield pussy, like grabbing it like that.
Is anybody else getting hungry?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm getting peckish. Well, did you ever hear of Honeysuckle Divine?
Yes.
She was the one that used to shoot ping pong balls and eat a tuna fish sandwich with what and all.
Where was that at? Where'd she do that?
I know she did it at the Trocadero in Philadelphia because it was like when we were kids, it was like this big joke about Honeysuckle Divine. But I was up at the Rib and they were shooting a porn. And, these porn girls need so much attention, obviously. And they didn't have anything else to do, and no more conversation. So one girl sits in the bar. She goes, do your trick. You know the container their cigars put in? She jams that in her, and she just pops it out. But she hit the girl too hard. It was so funny. The girl's face is there, and she goes, boom. And the girl goes, fuck, ow. big red mark on her face. How do you explain that?
She could shoot it out of her pussy so hard it hurts.
Yeah.
Did you see that fucking mantis shrimp that I posted on my my Twitter page yesterday?
No.
You gotta see this. This is the craziest fucking animal I have ever heard in my life. If you scroll down, a guy named Mike Jackson Esquire, the Truth Jackson on Twitter, sent this shit to me. And it's a murder mantis shrimp. It's a shrimp that has a built-in weapon. It's not actually a shrimp. It's like they explain what it is. It has a built-in weapon, like it has this thing where its body's like got a spring inside of it. It's got two hammers, and it shoots the hammers out and slams onto like crabs and kills them, breaks their shells open, breaks open clams and crabs. It is the wildest looking thing I've ever seen. In the ocean somewhere. It's called they call it the mantis murder shrimp, and they have a video in slow motion explaining how this shrimp.
I never heard of it.
I never heard of it either until yesterday. This guy who is explaining it, we should give this guy's YouTube page, whatever it is.
Is that him?
It's
Smarter Every Day?
Smarter Every Day.
Yeah.
It's called Mantis Murder Shrimp.
Yeah,
Slow motion.
scroll it back just a little bit before right where you were, just a little bit there, and it'll show you. Watch how this thing does this. Turn the volume up. Watch how it comes out. it whacks this crab and fucking kills it.
Fucking knocked it out.
Watch this. Look at this. Wow. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
It's got 2 hammers on the end of its claws.
That's cool.
I never knew a thing like this existed.
That's cool.
How could that be kept from us all these years?
All these years. There's so many animals. Look at it. The crab is smashed. It crushed the shell of the crab. It's crazy that thing has been there in the ocean this whole time, and we never heard about it until 2014. There's too many things to pay attention.
That's why I come here to this podcast
to learn about shrimps that fuck people up or fuck things up. Yeah, it's not actually a shrimp. It's like something else. They call it a. Here, I'll Google it to find out what the fuck it actually is. But incredible. This is that you're just finding out about
It's
this.
like boxing gloves almost.
Yeah.
So it looks
like hammers, right?
Yeah. Look at that.
So the
Hi, guys.
the podcast is smarter every day, or the show is smarter every day. It's a really well done show too.
Wow.
They did a great job of explaining the mechanism that this thing has inside of its body. It's essentially like a spring. It pulls this thing back, and then it holds it in place, and it's like locked. And then when it gets close to things, it just releases it. And blasts
Imagine how
it.
hard it has to hit you because it's underwater.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
That slows it down.
Yeah, and deep underwater too. It's not like it's on the surface. You're dealing with a lot of pressure. Amazing, really amazing stuff. The world, Dominic.
Joe,
There's
every
so
day I learn
much.
something, and I forget something else.
The last time we worked together, we did Kill Tony at the Ice House, because I still don't go to the Comedy Store. But the Ice House version of Kill Tony, you and I had that was more fun than
God.
I've had doing a podcast in a long time. That was
too.
really fucking fun.
Yeah, we were crying laughing.
So silly. The premise behind Kill Tony, for folks who don't know, it's Tony Hinchcliffe and Brian Redband have this podcast where they do. Everybody does like a minute. Like you have new comics, they go up and do a minute, and they have these 2 girls. What are their names again?
Sarah Weinshank and Kimberly Condom.
Very funny gals who do a free, a new minute every week. Which, if you've ever done stand up before, it's hard to
harder
do.
than it sounds.
Yeah, it sounds like a new minute's easy, but they don't get a chance to really develop it. It's just every week they do a new minute, and they've done that since the very beginning. So their entire stand up career has essentially been just doing stand-up on the internet in front of everybody. That takes balls.
It does.
But
I was a little mean, I thought, but I was having fun.
You had to be. If you got to go for the jugular,
So
go for that jugular.
I love guys that had a minute and they came up like with 35 seconds.
Yeah.
They couldn't fill a minute.
And they're like, okay.
So where you guys from? Like,
well, if you stare at your mirror and you practice for a minute, it's most likely not really going to be a minute when you're up there because you're going to be panicking. You'll be talking faster.
do you ever get nervous anymore? Everybody always asks me that.
Yeah, I got nervous before I filmed my special in Denver. I definitely.
No kidding.
Yeah, I got a little. Yeah, because I
probably good for
worked
your
so
energy.
hard for it. Yeah, it worked out great, but it was so much preparation for it. It felt more intense than a regular show. Not like
You're big in Denver, huh, Joe?
Yeah, I did it at a small place though. I did it at the Comedy Works.
Oh, that's where I'm going this month.
I love that place.
I did. You do go downtown or to the cruise ship?
Downtown, the cruise ship.
That's what it's like. The other place.
Why do you say it's like a?
It's
cruise
just like a
ship?
giant because it has everything. It has like movie theaters, restaurants, and it's all in one little block.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Downtown is like funkier.
Yeah, well, downtown's smaller too, and it's like you're stuffed into that really cool room. That room is.
Oh, you did your
set
special
up
in
so
that room?
well. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It was fun. It was really
See,
fun.
I think that's better than a theater.
I think so too. Well, my thought process behind it was that when you're at home, you're in your living room. Your living room is very intimate. You're sitting down, or maybe you're downloaded on your computer. You're in your office, but either way, you're in a small environment usually, and you're sitting there watching like some guy on stage in front of thousands of people. Doesn't feel. I mean, it's still a good show. Like you can enjoy it, but you don't feel like you're there.
No.
But I watched. I've seen a couple people do them. Like Sarah Silverman had one. She did it at Largo, and I didn't watch too much of it, but I was like, wow, that feels good. Like that she's all in tight like that.
Yeah.
It feels good, like to watch a show where you're kind of like right there. So I decided to do it.
I think it's good. I had this discussion to be a name dropper with Tosh and with Seinfeld, And both of them think theaters are better, and I just disagree. And even for Tosh's act, I think he's better in a club. And Seinfeld said, why can't I just sit on my hands? I mean, why can't people sit on their hands and listen to me for an hour and a half? Who are these people? You know, it's like, I said, because I'd rather people be drinking. I'd rather them be a little distracted and having fun
Right.
than focus like it's theater.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference in the kind of show that you can do too. Like you can't like bang, 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 hammer them in a theater because the laughter.
No, you got to wait for it to roll up.
Yeah, fucks over the punchlines. I went to see Louis Black. Me and Joey, we were staying at this place in Jersey, and we were doing the theater the next day. He was doing it on Thursday. We were doing it on Friday.
Right.
And we went in to watch, and I was like, whoa, like. When a guy's on stage doing like telling jokes, when people start laughing, you don't hear anything else he says until that laughter stops.
Yeah.
And I never realized that because obviously you're on stage, you have the microphone, you have the monitors broadcast in your face, so you hear yourself very loud and clear. But the audience, they don't hear you very good when people are laughing. It's real weird.
Well, I used to open for Cher, and we would be at Madison Square Garden, places like that. And you really had to wait for the wave to come by because otherwise, you're right, you're talking over yourself. You're talking over the laugh.
Yeah, you talk over the laugh and you kill all the taglines. Anything after the punchline, which, you know, but some of those taglines, like, they have to be done very quickly in a comedy club for it to work. So there's a totally different kind of timing in a theater that, like, a joke won't work as well in some ways because, like, sometimes you say something, then you say something else. You say something, you say something else. Like those, like, everybody's laughing at the first thing, then the second thing, like, in a theater, you have to say it. You know, there's a big pause, and that timing, it gets funky. It fucks
It's
you.
totally different, yeah. I'd much rather do a club.
Yeah, it's the best. It's just you can't make as much money, and that's the difference. But there's something to like some clubs or some theaters, like Massey Hall we were talking about in Toronto. Massey Hall's fucking phenomenal. Even though it's 3,000 plus people, it's still phenomenal. It's like it's the right size for some reason.
I was there one night. We had Jason Alexander asked me if I wanted to do an improv at the end of the show. We had to follow Robert Schimmel talking about cancer and killing. He was fucking killing. I said to Jason, Schimmel's killing talking about cancer. What the fuck are we going to do? Fly around the room?
Yeah, he had a whole series like after he almost died. I saw him in Tempe, and he had all this material about almost dying. You know, about like he would bring up.
How brilliant
a
do you have to
pamphlet.
be to make that funny?
He's honest as fuck, man. That guy was honest as fuck. He was such a sweet guy too.
Yeah.
I ran into him after all the cancer stuff. You know, he'd survived it and he's really skinny. I ran into him at Barnes and Noble, man, just randomly, and he's so warm, so friendly. That really fucking bummed me out. That bummed me out. The Robin Williams thing really bummed me out recently.
Yeah.
And Richard Jeni really bummed me out. Those are the big three.
I didn't see it coming with Robin at all. I mean, he was supposed to do my podcast now, and I was going to call him. It's so weird how life
Like
works.
today?
Yeah, well, around this week, because what happened was I didn't call him because I knew he was upset about the series not getting picked up, and he had to go back home. His kids were going to school or whatever. Something was going on in his life. I said, let me leave him alone. I'll call him next week. There was no next week.
Fuck. Yeah.
And I had to go on CNN, and I fucking hated it because you just find out a buddy of yours dies, and they want to talk about suicide and how he did it and brain chemistry. I said, look, I'm sad right now. I don't want to go into this chemical bullshit and theory about why. Can we give him a moment?
Yeah. Dana Gould wrote a piece for, I think it was for Rolling Stone, that I also tweeted yesterday. Let me find it here, but it is a pretty detailed piece about why so many comedians are depressed. And I thought, brains behaving badly. Yeah, it's for Rolling Stone. And Dana, who's not just a really funny comic, I've known him forever, but very bright guy.
He's brilliant. Yeah.
Very, very insightful. And he wrote this interesting thing after the whole Robin Williams thing. You know,
he said something so funny to me. We're at the Laugh Factory. I did this bit about mother and daughter exchange club, lesbians taking care of younger girls sexually, right, and vice versa. And there was two lesbians there. I said, did you ever see it? One of the women went, yeah, I've seen it. I said, it's hot, ain't it? It's it's perverted, it's hot. And so, I say something about to Dana, being married. And I get down and I sit down with him. He goes, Dom, I've been married for 12 years. Of course I've fucking seen it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Dana's a funny guy, man. The thing about the Robin and also about Rich Jenny that it's not in my wheelhouse is the depression thing. Both those guys suffered from pretty severe depression, and the more people we talked to, we had Cara Santa Maria on last week, who's a friend of ours, who's very, very smart, very brilliant woman, and also a neuroscientist. So, she's not talking out of her ass when she explains what's going on in the human brain. It's just a fucking disease, man. It's a disease. And anybody that doesn't have it, that talks out of their ass, like fucking, what's his face? Henry Rollins said that it was like weak that he killed himself because he had kids.
Oh, boy, it's not that.
These people, I see that they want to take a stand because they find it offensive that people would be, in their eyes, what they would consider so selfish that they committed suicide. But I think in talking to people that have had it, I think it's pretty safe to assume they're telling you the truth, that they can't do it. They can't keep going. Like these motherfuckers, when they don't get help, when they don't get some sort of a chemical help or whatever needs to be done, whether it's some sort of a mental imbalance, whether it can be mitigated with exercise or diet, but whatever that state they're in when they hit the bottom, they can't go on, man. I don't understand it. I don't have it. I don't get depressed.
I get it.
Do you?
In the morning, yeah. But then I kind of work my way out of it.
Do you jerk your way out of it?
I jerk my way out of it. I stain little things in my house.
Do you wake and spank?
Come here, kitty.
You hit a bell. Ding.
But with Jenny, you could see something coming. Jenny, Rich was always very neat. Mm-hmm. He was all disheveled last time I saw him. Oh. And Eleanor said she saw him at a supermarket. He was knocking over things in the shelves. He was like, the drugs were fucking him up.
What drugs was he on?
Some antipsychotic drugs, and he was supposed to change the prescription that week. I don't know which stories are true. But Robin, the big difference was there was no indication.
Well, apparently not. But Mark Gordon, who's this doctor that I've had on the podcast before, sent me this piece that he's working on the high instances of suicide in relationship to operations, and that people need to. Yeah,
that's what Overton said.
Mm-hmm. He was saying that they need to accept that there's an issue going on with people's hormonal balances that get thrown out of whack by a pretty severe operation like heart surgery.
Yeah.
And he cited the instances of hypothyroidism that can be caused by it, and then the pituitary gland function, especially being under for a long time. When they do like those, like what Joan Rivers just had done, they put her under for a long time, and now she's still in like critical care.
She's in a coma, I think.
Yeah, she's fucked. Apparently, when you get put under for like long periods of time, they do something like open heart surgery, which they did with Robin. It can be really tricky. Like when you come out of it, like it's like pretty severe depression occurs in a lot of people. So if people didn't see it coming before, you got that factor. You also have the drug factor that he recently checked himself back into rehab again. He said there was no reason to. He was just like reaffirming his commitment to sobriety, but that sounds like some PR people's idea of what to say for me.
Yeah, don't tell him. Don't tell him you're really fucked up again.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get caught drunk driving or anything like that. Whatever it is, he decided to check himself in again. And so there's all those things. And, he also had a lot of debt. He owed a lot of money.
I heard that, yeah.
But he was very wealthy still. I talked to his agent, who's a friend of mine, and she was saying, don't let all these people tell you that he owed more money than he had. He had plenty of money. He just has this like $30 million house in Napa. He's like a 600-acre estate. Like he has some crazy fucking park essentially in Napa, and it's $30 million. Oh. So, but she said he was still rich when he died, and you can't say it was that. It was when someone owes money, like they have a mortgage, it's not like you can't pay that money. It's just more strategic. Like as far as like how much interest you can earn on your money, it's smarter in a lot of cases to like keep paying it off. Like as a mortgage than it is to just spend, whatever he owed on it. Like it was $20 million or something like that. Take the $20 million out of his money. But she's like, he could have done that if he wanted to. So it wasn't like he wasn't broke at all.
Yeah.
But a lot of people thought that had an issue too. Just the fact that he's failed relationships is depressing, and
Yeah, I know his first wife very well. But the thing about him, when he won the Academy Award, I'll never forget it because it was like when Jamie Foxx won. I go, wow. we beat the grown-ups. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because like nobody ever takes, I mean, and they were both serious parts, but nobody ever takes comedians seriously for Academy Awards. And Mike Myers and Austin Powers, to me, it was Academy Award winning performance. I really believe that at that level, because it was as funny to me as anything. But anyway, Robin was so fucking talented. Think about that.
Yeah, he's a very talented actor, man. That movie, 1 Hour Photo, did you ever see that?
Oh, that's one of my favorite movies.
Creepy fucking movie, man.
How many people saw that one?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was more of an independent. That was one of the things that he was talking about. Why he wound up doing that television show was because it was an independent film situation where he was like constantly getting these offers to do these films, and they barely even had funding. And if they they paid scale, and they were it was interesting jobs. But he was like the big movies had kind of dried up for him for whatever reason. Like sometimes those movie star guys will go in these peaks and valleys.
Oh, definitely. Like
Kevin Costner. He started to do movies recently, but remember after Waterworld? It was like a long fucking time before anybody put that guy in a big movie again.
Did you actually see Robin's new show? Unfortunately, I watched a few episodes of it, and I understand why I think it didn't work. It just seemed very, very cheesy. And then maybe that might have been one of Robin's things, that because he was still playing a character that never really progressed in a way. Like
I'm still catching up on Seinfeld. I never saw.
What do you mean by a character that never really progressed?
Because if you ever see Robin Williams like on the Tonight Show or any of those shows, he always does the same act where it's very
frenetic.
Yeah, very crazy and very, very like you almost can guess what he's about to do next, and to me I loved it, but I also thought that when it was converted into a show,
it was
just too much. It was just like, all right, this is so unrealistic.
But he used to
weird.
do that when he was on Mork and Mindy.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's kind of like,
well, the difference is he's 60 now.
Yeah,
that was 30 years ago.
You can't be you could be a 30-year-old guy and be like a fucking crazy ha, I'm from another planet. But when you're 60,
it's kind of like Jim Carrey doesn't do Jim Carrey as much anymore.
Like Ace Ventura type shit.
Yeah, like if he was still doing Ace Ventura, then then you made it a sitcom with a laugh track. It's like,
yeah, like Man on the Moon when he did. Is that what was it called? Yeah. When he did the Andy Kaufman movie.
Kaufman,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Like that was a great performance. That was an Oscar-worthy performance. I mean, he really nailed Andy Kaufman. He really was Andy Kaufman.
Yeah,
in
it was
that role.
amazing.
He did a great job. But like when he does the Ace Ventura stuff, you can't really do that when you're 50 years old or whatever he is. He's probably like 50, right?
Right.
You can't really do that.
Nobody wants to see
when
you get out of breath.
Pratfalls. Well, didn't Chevy Chase like fuck himself up from pratfalls?
Yeah,
I had heard that he has
when
all
he used to do
sorts
Gerald
of
Ford. He used to do Gerald Ford falling all the time. He was the president at the time. Because again, Chevy Chase was only on for I think 1 year.
Really?
And he became that famous over that 1 year.
Well, he was the first
Land
breakout
Shark.
star.
Yeah.
From Saturday Night Live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh. But apparently, all those pratfalls really fucked them up.
I've heard that.
I heard that about the Three Stooges too. That those guys were like punchy towards the end of their career because they would smack at each other so much. Getting hit with shit. Dunk.
What's a guy's name from Jackass?
Steve-O.
No, not Steve.
Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny. I see him at the gym sometime, right? We were talking. I said, "It's really cool. You guys are trained in stuntmen stuff." He goes, "We don't know a fucking thing." He says, "We're just a bunch of assholes." I started. I didn't know that. I thought they knew what they were doing. They're fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's not a smart thing to do. What they're doing.
Alligators biting your balls? No.
They got lucky. They got lucky that no one ever died doing that show.
Oh, yeah.
But then that one guy died.
Still doing it though. They're getting lucky still.
They're doing it still?
Yeah, like they're still filming stuff together and doing like I think they might even be doing another Jackass.
What happened with Steve-O when he painted that sign near SeaWorld? SeaWorld sucks. He climbed up, fell a bunch of times if you want to watch it online. I mean, I don't know if he fell on purpose. He's just being a silly goose the way he climbs his sign. He climbs his sign and falls from like fucking 30 feet up and lands on the ground and somehow survives.
Did you ever see him do stand-up?
No.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, well, he does like tell stories, right?
Yeah, I mean, he also like does some physical stuff. He tries to fall and stuff. That's what I saw with the Laugh Factory. I don't know if that's part of his real act, but
some of it involves fire, depending on the comedy club, and the fire. fire licenses. He does a
fire.
lot of different acts. Like he grew up Ringling Brothers. Barney, he graduated from their college, so he used to be in the circus. So a lot of his shit's like.
So he was at least
acting.
had some.
You
some of it.
imagine if you have a fucking business, you worked real hard to put together a comedy club, you hire a wait staff, you get everything up and running, and Steve-O comes to town, he asks you if he could do fire on stage, and you just see your life falling apart for one fucking Thursday in November, and you're like, no fire, dude, no fire. And then he's got the fire anyway, like,
I wrote it.
let me do the fire bit. Yeah, one day that's not going to work. One day something's going to go bad when you're doing fucking getting hit by bulls and getting launched into the air with a blindfold on. You see that? This was after Johnny Knoxville was a movie star. He was already in movies with The Rock. Remember? He did that movie with The Rock. After that, puts a blindfold on, lets a fucking bull launch him into the air.
Unbelievable.
And flips like head over heel. It could easily land on his neck.
These guys expend so much energy. They're very mild when you talk to them. They're very low key. Jim Carrey's like that. Jim Carrey's like, he's the wacky guy, and then you ever talk to him? He's just so like mellow and down to earth.
That's what, like Steve Martin. He's almost shy and he doesn't really like to even talk to people, right?
He was such a dick to me. I was doing
Steve Martin was?
Yeah, I was doing this thing for Comedy Central where before the awards shows, you would interview people. And everybody was nice. Jerry Lewis, Gary Shandling, all these guys. Steve Martin, we asked him if we could interview. He said yeah, and then he wouldn't. He was giving me one-word answers and just real smug. I'm thinking, your fucking career was predicated by putting an arrow through your head. Don't act so slick with me.
Why is he acting slick with you?
I don't know.
Didn't want to be
He's
nice?
just grumpy. But
that's
don't
too
do the
bad.
interview if you're going to be like that.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. I think he was brilliant. When he was a comic. I mean, the Let's Get Small, all that stuff.
Very brilliant, yeah.
I think what happened to him, though, is overload. Like, if you talk to him, like, if you listen to him rather talk about it, he talks about how it got to a point where he can go on stage and anything he did, people laughed. So he couldn't figure out what was funny anymore. They were just so happy to see him, and he was like, this is crazy. Yeah. So he just pulled out of comedy. Stopped doing stand-up.
Isn't that weird?
Crazy.
You couldn't do that, could you?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I could.
Really? I can't
wouldn't
imagine
want
you
to.
not doing stand-up.
I could. I wouldn't want to, but I could. Yeah, I could. You know what? There's a lot of things I want to do, man. I like doing stuff. Like I'm writing a lot now. Especially I'm writing a lot of stand-up because I'm getting ready to do like a whole new hour. I got to put together a whole new hour. So it's really exciting. But I just started writing a book too. I'm writing a script. I wrote this, not a script, another book, like a horror book, a monster movie book. So I'm like, I got a bunch of shit I like to do. So if someone said, you can't do stand-up anymore, I'd be like, man, I'm going to miss stand-up. But I got to do all this other shit. Like,
See, I don't have that.
Yeah,
I don't have that distraction. I'm
keep
like a
myself
savant.
busy. See, for me, if I do only one thing, it doesn't sit well for me.
Well, you have a career nobody else has. I mean, with the fights and everything, just the way your career, you're acting, I mean, there are people that watch Fear Factor that didn't know you were a stand-up.
Yeah, well, I did a lot of things that didn't make any sense. They don't go together. Like being a stand-up and being a cage fighting commentator, they don't really go together that good.
You're fucking great at that, man.
It's fun.
Well, you love it, and you know about it, and you break it down for people. I mean, I know you don't watch football, but I watch a lot of football. And there's a guy John Gruden. Do you watch football? He talks about bubble screens and all this shit. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. You break it down so that a common person could understand what's going on.
Well, there's a thing that sportscasters like to do to let you know that they're in the know. They use obscure lingo and jargon, and they do it on purpose.
Right.
Like I've heard guys do it with MMA. They're like, yeah, he's going to hit him with a 2-3-5 combo. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
I don't even know what that is. Everybody's is different, by the way. You can't say that because there's your standard 2-3. A 2 is a right hand, a 3 is a hook. So it's jab is a 1, 2 is a right hand, 3 is a hook. But different camps do different shit. Like some camps they'll like hit them with the Aldo. They'll come up with names for combinations.
Right.
They'll come up with names for certain techniques. Like a shovel hook is the razor ruddock. The razor ruddock, and they'll have different numbers. Like instead of 1, 2, 3, they'll do it backwards. They'll have like a 10 strike combination from like 10 being the head kick, 9 being the knee to the body, 7 being the elbow to the head. They'll have like a bunch of them. So they'll have their own system. Like so the that no one knows what the fuck. Like if you're in someone's corner and you're yelling out, hit him with the 2, hit him with the 2, the guy's going to look out for the right hand. But if 2 is a roundhouse kick instead, or a wheel kick or something else, they won't know. So like everybody mixes things up. So when someone's, I think the 2-3 is going to be big for him in this fight, like fuck you. What are you doing? You're just letting everybody know you're inside. That's all you're doing. You're giving them nonsense sports guy talk, and you can't do that with fighting. There's a lot of sports guy talk. They like to insult like athletes. They like to insult players. There's like a certain amount of that, but people don't tolerate that in MMA. It's a totally different kind of sport. The people that have been like really insulting about athletes, really insulting about like calling them losers or fat or whatever, those people all get ostracized. They all get pushed out because there's such a tremendous, like the emotional burden of fighting. It's respected more. There's going to be people that mock people when they lose, but a lot of those people are fucking teenagers or little kids. People don't know about life. But as far as like journalists, the vast majority of ones are like super negative journalists. They get ostracized, which I think is a good thing.
I'll tell you what, the time that you invited us in Montreal to that, was that French-Canadian guy?
George St. Pierre.
That was one of the most exciting moments I've ever felt in my life, of positive energy.
Yeah,
it's fucking
wild.
Incredible. That was wild.
Yeah, they're always wild.
And thank God he won.
Yeah.
I can't imagine if he had lost. But and plus the crowd was so much classier because I've gone to like professional wrestling years ago and they all look like they were all cross-eyed and they all look, skate on his face.
Don't say that to Tony Hinchcliffe. He'll get fucking angry.
Really? Hit him with the point.
Tony Hinchcliffe was reading a book the other day, a fucking pro wrestling book on the insides of the business.
He subscribes to the channel and just sits there and watches every single WrestleMania over and over again.
He was trying to explain to me how they write these story arcs he was right though that Brock Lesnar was going to beat John Cena. Like he told me how it was going to happen.
You knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, but
I don't know anything. I don't know anything, man.
Of course he's going
But
to.
they admit that it's a show.
Well, they had to. They had to for a bunch of reasons. I think they had to for like tax purposes, like that it's entertainment, it's not sports. It probably cost them money.
Right.
And I think they had to also because otherwise they could be accused of fixing contests. So they think they had to change it from being a sport to being entertainment. People didn't give a fuck though.
No, they don't care.
Didn't stop the ratings at all.
I think it's funny when the punch lands like a foot away from the guy's face.
The guy goes flying.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, they beat the fuck out of each other for real too, though. They do hit each other.
Oh, well, they're good athletes. I mean, just flip it
no
in the
doubt.
air and land it on your back. I had to hit Kevin James with a punch on his show.
On King of Queens?
Yeah, and I was so upset because my left hand is so much better than my right. So I threw this kind of half a fag punch with my right hand, and he goes flying down. And
Why'd you have to throw right? Because they didn't accept
because
the
of the way
fact
the
that you're a
camera.
southpaw?
Yeah, they wouldn't. They the camera thing, whatever it was.
Sons of bitches.
I know.
That's ridiculous. You should have stood your ground. You say, look, I'm a lefty.
I wasn't in a position to. Joe was a guest star. Wasn't exactly an executive
Tell the
producer.
director to
Fuck
fucking
them.
switch it around.
Maybe we can go back and change it.
We should go back and post.
Film upside down.
Brian knows Photoshop.
Yeah.
Switch that shit around.
He's a clever little son of a bitch, isn't he?
So when you threw the punch, how far away from him were you?
Not that far. And it looked like I hit him.
Really?
And he went down, and he comes up with all ketchup in his mouth. And
I accidentally hit a guy in a scene we were doing that hardball show. I threw a punch, and they threw like a beer, I think it was, in my face, or fake beer, and I was supposed to hit him afterwards, but because like the fake beer hit my face, I was like temporarily blinded, and I tried to like do it like in front of his face or to the side of his face, and I accidentally like nicked him, and I felt so bad.
Oh.
I didn't hurt him, but it was just like, what an idiot. Of all people, I used to do demonstrations pulling punches on people's face, and I accidentally hit this guy.
Do you have VHS copies of this show, and can I transfer it
Hardball?
online?
I probably have a couple.
You should, because there's the only thing I've ever been able to find is like 1 or 2 screenshots.
Yeah, Sony took it to where they drop all that nuclear waste in Nevada. They opened up some canisters and they dropped all the master tapes in the nuclear waste so that no one would ever see it. It wasn't Sony, Disney took it. Fox.
that was the first gig you had, wasn't it?
Yeah, first gig I had. Yeah, if it wasn't for that, nothing else. Like I would have never gotten news radio. Would have never gotten any of those things because I got news radio because I was still out here, and the reason why I was out here is for that hardball show. If it wasn't for me signing a lease, because I wasn't going to sign a lease, like I was just going to rent at the Oakwoods.
Yeah.
You know, the Oakwoods is a thing that everybody does in L.A.
After when you're getting separated from your wife.
That's true. Well, it's everybody does in L.A. when you move to town because they'll rent you a furnished place. Like it already has a TV, it has cable already, it has a bed, and you can it's almost like you move into an apartment that somebody else's shit is there.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Like they had paintings on the walls and like it feels like an apartment. That's what I got when I first was here, but it was too depressing. There was too many weird people. There was like a lot of weirdness. There's like discombobulated souls wandering around there, and I didn't enjoy the energy. And so like any idiot who's 25 years old who's convinced his television show's gonna go, I'm like, this fucking show's gonna go. I got a lease on an apartment. You know, I rented an apartment like a fucking moron. And I signed the lease, and I bought a TV and set it up. I didn't even have a couch. I was watching TV on the ground. And then the fucking show got canceled. I'm like, shit. I'm stuck out here. I was totally ready to go back to New York.
Can you imagine if that would have happened? Your life would be totally different.
He'd have been doing Broadway.
Yeah, I would have been a dancer. I would have been a dancer.
Natalie Needs a Nightie.
I just would have concentrated on stand-up. I mean, I'd already done stand-up TV. I'd already done Caroline's Comedy Hour. I'd already done MTV Half Hour Comedy Hour. I was already headlining nationally, so I was already making money as a comic. It was like just when it was starting to work for me. So I probably would have just concentrated more on stand-up, but yeah, it definitely would have been different. I never would have been on something like news radio, that's for sure.
Or you were working Dunkin' Donuts in Tower 7. Who knows?
I wasn't working in Dunkin' Donuts when I was 19.
I remember bringing you up to Montreal at Club Soda.
Yeah, that was before I was on anything. That was a long time ago.
You were a completely different kind of comedian. You were. I mean, you were always good, but you were different. You didn't invest the energy that I remember that you do later on with the new rules.
Well, I just wasn't that good. You know, I mean,
you were pretty good.
I was okay. I just didn't know how to be the best version of me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I didn't have any insight either. That was the other thing. I was 24, 25 when we met. You know, when we first did Montreal.
Yeah.
Like, was it like 92 or something like that?
I don't know.
Something like that. Somewhere around then. But I didn't. You know, I was an idiot. It was just me being on stage. It's just like a ridiculous proposition. Like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is he allowed to talk? You know, so you know what I mean?
Well, I think you're being tough on yourself. You were pretty good. You just weren't. I mean, now you're just so confident. The energy's all there. You know, it's like. I mean, I don't know if people get too comfortable, but you can see it. You know how you have like a minute or like a half a minute on stage where you're just like thinking or something. Mm-hmm. You're comfortable with that now. You weren't comfortable with that then, and neither was I.
Right. I know what you mean. Yeah. Those. Yeah. The pauses and just being in your own skin, like, and the audience can sense when you're not comfortable. It makes them uncomfortable, and then the whole thing goes wacky.
Yeah.
Plus, back then, like, if anything went wrong, the fucking show was over. Like,
right.
I never pulled myself out of a downward spiral ever. Like, I would do great. Like, once it started going down, the ship was going to hit the rocks. There was no getting out of that. Just save yourself.
Well, see, I had the improv in those clubs in New York. Where did you develop?
Well, mostly Boston up until, I guess it was right around the time I met you. I was moving to New York. It was 92-ish, somewhere around there. I lived in New York from 92 to 94. And in 94, I was already going back and forth to L.A. But all that, like 88 to 90-ish, maybe, I guess it was 90, 91, all that was in Boston. And it was a lot of it was working all these outside bar gigs, the bar gigs and clubs.
Do you remember when it clicked in for you?
Honestly, as a professional, I don't think it wasn't until I was like 10 years in. Yeah. You know, when I did my first comedy CD, which is I'm Gonna Be Dead Someday, I did it at the Houston Laugh Stop. I did that in 99. That was when I felt comfortable enough with what I had to put it on a CD. And yeah, I listened to it today, I cringe. But I felt comfortable enough after 10 years in, like, I think I can release something. You know, so that was when but I feel I'm better now than I was 2 years ago. I know I am. I work at it more. I'm more excited by it. Like, I wasn't that happy with my last special. I was when I put it out, and then when I started going over it, I was like, I could have done this better. I was doing too many different things, you know. But this one, I did stand-up, like, every night. I did stand-up, like, Sundays. I did Tuesdays. I took, like, Mondays off, But almost every week, I was doing Tuesday at the Ha Ha, Wednesday at the Improv.
It does help, man.
Fuck
Getting
yeah,
that
it does.
You know,
Fuck yeah, it does.
I look at my act now, the body of my work, if I may, and I think, who the fuck wrote this?
Yeah.
Because how did I get this much shit? Because writing, like, if I had to write for, sometimes I think, like, you know, I do it. People say, do you write a lot? I go, yeah, I write every day. The problem is it's not that funny. You know? Other than that, I'm prolific.
Well, that's the difference between a guy like you and someone who is not disciplined. Like some people, they sit down and they write and it's not good and they just go, fuck it. And they stop writing and they'll take days off and they won't write. But you got to show up. If you show up, the stuff shows up.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. You know, I had a guy on the podcast yesterday. His name's Sam Harris. He's a brilliant guy, neurosurgeon or neuroscientist rather, and knows a lot about the human mind. And he was arguing, not arguing, but explaining the idea of determinism, that there is no real free will, that everything you do is a combination of your genes, your life experiences, the environment that you're in, all these different. It was really, really interesting argument. Not
You said
argument.
there's
I
no
should
free
say.
will?
Yeah, he's saying there's no free will. I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying. He's saying that the reason why you act the way you act is essentially based on all these factors that you have no control over, like your genes, your life experiences, all these different things. But as a comic, I don't know what. I guess it's all those things that are leading me to invest more energy into it right now. But like whatever it is, you know, I don't know, free will, whatever the fuck it is, that's causing me to be excited about it now. I'm as excited, if not more excited, by stand-up right now than I ever have been ever.
I could see that. I could
So
see
much
it
more
when
fun.
you get on stage and you're already like in a good mood because you're on stage.
I think I'm appreciating how awesome a gig it is too.
Oh, I love it.
Reappreciating. Like I never lost appreciation for
Yeah.
it, but I compare it to other things.
Well, you know, the thing is, for me, it's crossing generations. I appreciate that so much.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I mean, you know, of course, shows like yours help a lot, but it's amazing to me. I was in Montreal. True story. Stop me if you heard this.
Oh,
I was in Montreal, and this girl and her mother, you could see that they were related, come up to me, and
they both wanted to fuck.
they wanted to suck my fucking hairy sausage.
Oh,
She goes, the kid was nervous, you know, and she said, "Are you Don Irrera?" I go, "Yeah." And she goes, can we get a picture? I said, "Of course." And so the mother walks away to get a camera and the father. I said to her, "How old are you?" She goes, 12. I go, 12? This is because of the internet, you know. I said, you know me? She goes, I said, how old? She goes, "Listen, man." She called me dude. She goes, "Listen, dude, I've been a fan of yours since I was 7. I said, 7? I didn't know I had any single-digit fans.
Wow.
You know, isn't that incredible?
That's wild. A 12-year-old has been a fan since they were 7.
She says, "Funny's funny," and I said, "You know, we're so different. It's different generations, different worlds." And she said, "I said, well, I can't believe your parents would let you watch a pig like me." She goes, "Well, you know, the internet, you can watch anything."
Dom, in 6 years, you're going to be fucking her. That's where it gets dark.
I look forward to that, Joe.
You will, too. I know you son of a bitch.
I need 2 years to get hard now. I'm glad you gave me the 6 years heads up.
Just save up the load.
So, boy.
Don't have any of those 3/4 erection ejaculation
Oh,
moments.
no, that's sad. a limp dick.
Where you're jerking off with a limp dick and you come anyway and you're like,
Why is-
oh, no.
Why are those words the funniest words still?
Limp
Like
dick.
limp dick, jizz. I jizzed all over the fuck.
Limp dick is always funny.
Limp dick is funny.
'Cause it's
It's
embarrassing. It's inherently embarrassing.
I wouldn't know.
Never?
No, I'm hard now.
Whoa!
Yeah, just-
hey, you're like Liberace. Liberace had one of his balls was a pump. It's like,
Air Max.
I'm not kidding. No, I'm not
Really?
kidding. Yeah, he had a pump. There's a thing that guys do when they get erectile dysfunction that they used to do. I should
That's
say.
the thing Stallone had. They just talk about.
I don't know about that. I heard that Stallone liked to lie on the glass while girls shit on him.
Oh, I thought that was
That's
Danny.
what I had heard.
I thought
Danny
that was,
Thomas.
Yeah,
that was him too.
I wasn't gonna
They
say
did it together. They jerked each other off while they watched it.
But that's not really shit fair. It's not shitting. It's shitting on a table.
It was
you happen to be under it.
biological. You know, you're watching it expand, and you're
quite
watching.
cool.
Yeah, it's like when a little kid plays with Play-Doh, and they have the factory, and they wind it up, and it comes out. That's what it's like.
Well, you were the one that told me about that a long time ago when we first started looking up shit on the internet about some Japanese guys getting shit on.
Well, there's a lot of videos of people that would like shit in each other's mouths and stuff, and you can't believe it's real. But when you watch it, there's some fake ones like 2 Girls, 1 Cup. They like put ice cream up their ass or whatever the fuck they put up there that wasn't exactly shit.
I hate
Apparently, you can get some severe diabetes from that. Get all that sugar up your butthole. But I don't think they're concerned about those girls.
No, I
making
don't
those
think that would be
videos.
their first worry.
There's plenty of videos though of people eating shit. It's apparently it's a genre. You know, some folks enjoy watching it.
I've had it in my mouth once. Don't
Really?
recommend it.
Yeah.
Oh, because
So he's thinking about asking. He's like, I shouldn't. Let me. Oh no need. No need.
Who
to
was
go
it?
down
Did you know her?
Oh yeah.
Knew her very well. He was sleeping in the same bed as her.
Did you do a bit on
It
that?
was outside. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I thought I heard it before.
Yeah.
It's a true story, Dominic.
True story.
It's not a happy story, but it is a true story. Gets dark out there.
That's interesting. That's a weird fetish.
Do you
That
like
wasn't his idea, though.
Yeah, well, I
that
didn't
was
do it on
just an
purpose.
accident.
She was an accident, right?
Some people, they're shitting in each other's mouth. Like, they go, okay, let's meet here at 2 o'clock, and I'm going to shit in your mouth. Yes.
How do
I'll
you
be
get to
there.
that point? How do you? Look, you've done every perversion there is, so you get to that point.
Well, that's why what Sam Harris says is so fascinating. Because
Yeah.
if determinism is true, that means that you're not even responsible for letting someone shit in your mouth. It's like all these variables have played a part in your being who you are at this moment, lying there on this stainless steel table while this Japanese guy hovers over your face.
Japanese guy?
Yeah, he pulls his sack up so his balls don't get shit on and dumps one right down your fucking mouth. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know a lot of things, though. I don't understand the Grateful Dead. You know?
Why there's such a phenomenon?
I don't get why anybody listens to that and likes it. I don't get it. I understand that you like it, but I'm just being honest.
No, I don't like
Not
it.
you, but anybody who's
Oh.
listening to this. Like, I get that Sunk Truckin'. I get a Touch of Grey. I've heard a bunch of it are pretty good. But
To be a deadhead is
Something
seems
special.
a little over the top.
my cousin traveled around the country with them.
I used to.
You used to travel the country?
I mean, I went to 3 shows, but he died right when I got into him.
Garcia?
Oh, that's so funny. He's
Yeah.
like, fuck this guy. I'm just going to kill myself.
Right. You know what? It was also about though. What a lot of people forget is that it was also people that you knew that also liked to smoke marijuana when it was really, really illegal. So it was like this group thing of like, hey, we all like to do psychedelics and mushrooms and smoke weed, and that was a lot of it. Also.
Yeah, well, there's also a thing that happens when you're on a drug, when you listen to something where it just sounds totally different than if you're not on that drug. Right. That's a reality that I experienced recently with what's called an Icaro. An Icaro is this thing that they play when there's ayahuasca ceremonies are going on. And if you take DMT and you listen to this Icaro, you see these things like play out in front of you. Tony's going to talk about it tomorrow. Tony and I will talk about it tomorrow because we did it together.
You did?
In Texas,
Oh, cool.
with these Icaros. But it's this crazy fucking sound that's playing that is like it's really wild because the sound somehow or another affects the music or the images you see rather. This is it. This is all these shamans in the Amazon, and they play this. And while you're on DMT and you do this, the images and these like elves in this hallucination or whatever you want to call it, they dance to this music, and it's fucking crazy, man. It makes the whole thing. It makes the whole thing even more bizarre. But what's weird is that these songs were actually designed to be used that way. They were all made by these trippers in the Amazon. And they're all using like rattles and shit, and they're whistling. Like, listen to this. It sounds like really simple music, right? If you listen to that, I'm like, dude, you need to download this. You'd be like, bitch, get the fuck out of here. I'm listening to some asshole whistle and slap his thigh. But if you listen to it when you're under the influence of DMT, it's amazing. It's like they dance to the music. it's really, really weird.
With all psychedelics, though, music is very, very important with
Mm-hmm.
mushrooms and everything. Because I've really changed a whole mushroom trip before just on the music I listen to, being like Pink Floyd or doing some kind of more like drum type stuff.
See, I think that would kill me.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I think if I took mushrooms or anything hallucinogenic, I'm so close to the fucking edge anyway that I need like tranquilizers.
You're that close to the edge?
Well, as far as
Living on
the
the edge.
Aerosmith. Something wrong with the world today. I don't know what it is.
Something wrong with our eyes. This is another one.
This is one of my favorites. I like that.
It's kind of like the last thing you hear when walking down a dark alley about to get raped by some
No, no.
guy.
I
in a
was
trench
thinking of an
coat.
open wheat field.
You didn't really even think that. You just
The
went with
first
that
one-
because you thought it'd be an interesting thing to say.
No, the first one I did because I was thinking of a guy whistling and like walking slowly down an alley. That's what
Stroking
came
his
to
cock?
mind.
That would be terrible if a guy was raping you while doing this.
If your mind went there and you're getting raped by dragons and patterns.
Have you hallucinated?
When? Right now?
No, have you hallucinated?
What do you mean? In
Like-
real life or
yeah.
with drugs?
With drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
I don't know because
I mean, I don't know if I'm really seeing elves. Maybe I'm really seeing elves,
You
but I'm
don't-
assuming that it's a
But
hallucination.
you don't hallucinate on pot.
No. Well, you can if you eat it. If you eat it and you close your eyes, you definitely hallucinate, for sure. If you eat a large dose, like if you have like a cookie, like a strong cookie, and then you lay down and close your eyes, you see bizarre shit.
That would scare the shit out of me.
Oh, it should. But that's part of the whole thing, is that it scares the shit out of you, and then when it's over, you feel better.
I was asking Joey Diaz last night about. I said, "Do you ever go a day without eating pot?" He goes, "Yeah, of course I do." I said, "Does it bother you?" He goes, "No, I smoke."
I tried it once in the 60s. It's overrated. Yeah, he's taking it to another level. He definitely he does take, he takes days off of edibles. But
Yeah, that's what he said.
Edibles can fuck with you, man. They can give you panic attacks. I've been with Joey when he was getting like a panic attack. We were on a plane,
Really?
and he's eating these things called Chiba Chews. Let me tell you about Chiba Chews, Dom Irrera. I don't ever eat a whole Chiba Chew. I mean, ever. Ever. I saw Joe eat 3 of them. 3.
Oh my god!
3 Chiba Chews.
And you don't even eat one?
If you ate 3 Chiba Chews and you listen to this, and you close your eyes, you would see the most bizarre shit ever. Dancing, fluorescent cartoon characters fucking and creating new cartoon characters that are separating and dividing like cells. You'd see your whole childhood play out in a cartoon form, like a comic strip. You could see anything. You will hallucinate. Like, that's a massive, massive dose of THC.
Now, how did he walk from the plane to the car?
He did, and he sat in that plane for 5 hours while we flew across the country. And then when it landed, he goes, "Joe Rogan, I almost had a fucking panic attack on that plane."
Was he okay by the time he landed?
Basically, yeah.
Holy
He
shit.
recovers quickly. THC, marijuana, when you eat it, produces a psychoactive chemical called 11-hydroxymetabolite, and it's about 5 times more psychoactive than THC. It's much more like mushrooms, much more like a psychedelic than marijuana. So marijuana just gets you high, but that 5-hydroxy will fucking kick your dick into the dirt. It's one of the reasons why when people eat cookies, they always say, "Oh, it was laced, man. It was laced." That wasn't laced. That's what happens.
Right.
When you eat a lot of it, especially, I had one of the most frightening moments in my life. I took a marijuana pill, and I was talking to this guy that turned out to be a rapist. Turned out to eventually went to jail for rape. He was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he fled while he was on this they were looking for him. So he fled and moved to the Pacific Northwest. Started doing jiu-jitsu again, even though they were looking for him. He couldn't stop doing jiu-jitsu because he liked to do it so much. And I was at this grappling event, and he had competed in this grappling event, and I had taken this pill, and I was way too high to be out in public. It was confusing. It was like really like, whoa. It was one of the first times I was ever really, really big. But he and I were talking, and when we were talking, I was like, wow, there's a distinct like different thing going on with this guy. Like this guy has like there's an ability to do things that this guy has like in his head, like that might not necessarily be good things. Like if you were with this guy in a street fight, he might like stomp somebody to death. You know what I mean? Like you might see him do that. Like don't do it, stop doing it. You know, like he wouldn't. I don't. You know, there was like an edge that he had crossed over, and I was feeling that when I was on the pills, and then like a couple months later, the guy goes to jail or gets indicted, and you know, and then flees, and then winds up going to jail later when he's still doing jiu-jitsu, because they had found him in some school, because he was a really high-level black belt. There's not that many guys that are capable of tapping out other black belts. So when some guy comes into your school out of nowhere and he starts strangling your instructor, everybody's like, well, what the fuck is going on? Who's this guy? And you try to pretend he was some guy from Brazil. And everybody's like, but he's American. What the fuck's going on?
He's in jail now?
He's in jail now, yeah.
Wow.
But it's those goddamn pills. I saw into his soul. I didn't like it, Dom.
I don't even like hearing it. I started thinking I'm going to get it over the air.
But in the context of that story, is the song any better?
Yeah. No, I like this. Oh, you don't like it?
When you're high as fuck and you hear this, it's the greatest song of all time. That's why I downloaded it. I had to keep it. I wanted it to be a part of my life.
What language? Are they singing anything or just making noises?
No, there's words to it. I don't know what the words are. This one, there's words to it. Obviously, the other ones didn't.
They're from the Amazon?
Yeah. That's the real deal. Peruvian, so I guess it must be some form of. I don't know what I mean. It's not Spanish.
No, it's native.
Yeah, but Peru, they speak Spanish mostly. I think they speak a bunch of different languages.
They have a native tongue.
Yeah.
In the Amazon, a couple.
It's wild shit, man. That's a crazy place to live. But this is their technology. This is the technology that they've invented to try to enhance or change these psychedelic trips that they go on. Very, very weird.
You ever get stuck in one you think you can't get out of it?
No. I've gotten I had one that I did a few years back that fucked me up for a couple weeks afterwards. Like it was so intense that for a couple weeks afterwards I was really worried that like reality itself had gotten, the way I described it was reality was too slippery. Like it didn't make sense. Like I'd get these thoughts on my head, like I'd be driving on the highway. I'm like, what if a car flips the divide and comes towards me right now? Like I'm like, what am I thinking this? You know? And I think.
Where were you working on then? On this or
Fear Factor? No, it was post Fear Factor. So nothing, just doing stand up.
Oh, okay.
You're still at the Comedy Store because I remember you talking to me about this. In the back.
Was it? So that was 2007, maybe.
2006, maybe.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah. Yeah, because we stopped going to Comedy Store at 2007.
I feel like it was post that, Brian.
That's so long ago.
Yeah.
I think they bet on the wrong horse.
That doesn't make any sense.
I remember we were in the back alley behind where the
I
back door is.
I had a few that fucked me up. I don't know if this is the same
You
one.
said life was slippery, and you were like, you just saw a ghost, and I'm like, did you do this last night? And you're like, no, this is like 4 days ago. And I'm like, what?
I'm not sure if our timelines are correct here. Anyway, that's not important. The important thing was it took about, I think what was going on for about 2 weeks after this experience was that it was so ego shattering. Like the psychedelic trip was so like changed my idea of what was important and my position like in my own universe. Like instead of me being the center of my own universe, I became like just this piece in this gigantic fractal. Like it was very weird. And if you're clinging to this idea, like what makes you successful? What makes you push forward? Well, I know you personally. I know you enjoy killing. You like going up there and you like being a great comic. You know, there's a reason why you're a great comic. You worked at it. You like it. You enjoy it. You go up, you do it, and you take pride in that. Well, when you have like a really intense psychedelic experience, one of the weird things that happens is like your idea of who you are, like the you thing, the you part of it, which was so natural and normal, kind of like dissolves. So I think my ego, by worrying about all this shit, by like worrying about cars flipping into my lane or weird things happening, it was almost like my ego was trying to present me with a bunch of different dangers. And these dangers you have to prepare for these, so you have to worry about yourself. You have to think about yourself. So it's like it was trying to counterbalance the ego-destructive properties of the psychedelic. Like the psychedelic was saying, listen, you can tweak out all you want about shit, but here's the reality. The reality is you're a part of something that's infinite and it goes on forever. It's infinite in size and it's infinite in length and it's fractal. It folds into itself and expands onto infinity.
Jeez.
And you could pretend you're important all day long, but you're not. It's impossible for you. You're a part of the universal soup of not just consciousness, but of atoms and subatomic particles and all these different things fold into each other. And it was so humbling that I think my ego was trying to battle it. I think my ego was trying to reclaim ground. And the way to do that was to make me paranoid, to make me worry about shit.
Yeah.
So, I'm aware when I drive, but I don't usually think, like, what if a car flips over that lane? What if a car comes out? One of the things that they used to connect DMT with when they were first experimenting with it, they thought it was causes psychosis, and they thought maybe it exists in higher doses in people that are psychotic. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why they're nutty. They're nutty because their brain is producing all these weird chemicals that have been shown to be produced by the body that also produce hallucinations. It might be. Did you see those Twitter images about that guy who has pineal cancer?
Yeah, we showed. We showed it on the last episode we did. Joe, one of your original DMT trips, you talked about how that you met some kind of like visual spirit or something like that, and he was telling you like 3,000 million times or whatever that was. Do you still
love you.
Talk to that exact same guy, or is there a new guy who got fired?
There's a part that you go to that's like the same place, and the part you go to is like these rotating columns that go on in infinity, and it's all like you're a part of like this. You see like the gears and the mechanisms of the universe, it feels like, and it's filled with entities. Like whatever this thing is, it's filled with like these conscious entities, where it feels like conscious entities. And sometimes they talk to you in English, and this last time they were talking to me in like a language that wasn't even real. Like they were talking to me in like they were saying words like they were saying like things that didn't make any sense and showing you things, and if you thought negative in any way, like they would go like this, like their finger would shake back and forth, no, and then if you calmed yourself and thought positive, that would calm down. But it was like letting you know every time you slipped into any sort of a negative pattern of thinking, and it was exposing a lot of the ideas that I was thinking that were important that weren't important at all. It's all ego-based ideas about, how you dress or how you look, or whether your car's dirty and whether you're not, whether you make X amount a year or Y amount a year, whether all these ideas that we have connected to ourselves that like infest our brain, and they're there all the time. It was letting me know like you're spending too much time thinking about stuff that's not important. It's like showing it to me, like over and over and over again. But it didn't do that thing where it says, I love you. It didn't say, look at this. Like the one time, it was like, they were like, I love you 600,500,000 times. Look at this. Wow. And every time they would say, look at this, it would become this even more beautiful thing.
Well, that's good.
It was weird. But this one, again, I did to these Icaros, these songs.
You're going to do it tomorrow?
No.
Oh.
Why? You want to go?
No.
Want to get in on this?
Bro. Joe, I can't do. If I do 3 teaspoons of cough medicine, I get fucking shaky.
That's not true. But you could have a drink. You can have a little Xanax. Have a little of that.
I don't drink with Xanax.
Why? What happens?
Well, your heart slows down too much. A lot of people die from tranquilizer alcohol mix.
Yeah, I gotta wait for those people.
What?
Pussies.
You're a pussy for dying.
Pussy. You can't take a little fucking Valium and a little whiskey.
No, you shouldn't.
That's how Merle Haggard became famous. That's how Johnny Cash made his songs. You gotta do it, son. Mix it up. All those country music guys used to fucking party hard. That was a big shocker to people that saw that Johnny Cash movie, the Walk the Line. Everybody was like, what? They were all pilled up? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. A lot of musicians, they used to call it, what did they call it before? Marijuana, before it was called weed. I forget, but anyway, it's like...
grass?
Maybe grass, yeah.
What's that noise? Is that outside?
Yeah.
It's that song coming back. Well, this is a very different podcast, Joe. I never thought I'd get nervous on your podcast.
Are you nervous?
Well, no, I started when the head stuff gets me a little.
Does it? Then you should do it.
Fuck no.
No.
Would kill me.
They give you the finger. They look like jokers. They have like Joker masks on. And they give
You
the
see them
finger.
when your eyes are open or your eyes
Yeah.
are closed?
Your eyes are closed. You see them way more visual. The visuals are way more potent than anything you could ever see with your eyes open. They give you the finger. They're spinning around giving you the finger. And they
Spiteful little
change.
bastards.
Well, they're having fun with you. They're letting you know, like, stop. I think it's their way of telling you not to take yourself seriously.
What do you
Like,
think?
Look where we are. Like, you take yourself seriously, dude. We're in another dimension, and we're fucking mocking you.
But you're creating it, right? Your brain's creating it.
I don't know. Yeah, I would think so.
You think there's really something out there? Or?
I don't know, and this is the best way to describe it. I don't know what life is. I think life itself, like this life that we live, is if it didn't exist, if you just you were creating a universe, you had no point of reference, and you said we're gonna have a bunch of people that the way they interact and let each other know what's on their mind is they make noises with their face. And then everybody's noises are different depending on what patch of land you're in. And those noises represent like shit that we've written down with symbols, but everybody's symbols are different too. Like there's some similar ones that a lot of people use in different places, but then the Russians, they change them up, and the Chinese change them, and the Japanese have their own system, and the Koreans have their own shit, and then the Spanish people use fucking like water slides over the top of their ends. Everything's weird. Right? And the only way they communicate with each other is by doing this. And then someone came along and they invented a translator. So you copy big slabs of text, you throw it into Google Translate, and it spits back up some broken English version of what that person is saying. That alone is weird. The fact that there's a planet with these types of people, these entities, and they're sending photos of each other. They're flying in metal tubes. They're broadcasting video through the sky, and you can pick it up on your phone and you can watch it. I mean, that alone is very psychedelic. It's just we don't think of it because we keep doing it. What we do as comedians is entirely psychedelic. When you're on stage this weekend at the Laugh Factory and you're killing
Sound system on.
when you're doing that, that's like a form of mass hypnosis. You got those people locked into the way you're thinking, and you're doing something to their body. By you talking in this expert rhythm of the master stand-up comedian and hitting all the punchlines and thank you, good night. And they're like, what a show. They laughed, and all you did was make noises with your mouth that represent ideas that you can introduce into their head that they wouldn't have ordinarily pieced together like that.
You really know my act.
I know how you work. But that's psychedelic. So what is going on when you take a drug and you see these things with your eyes closed? I'm not sure. Because it seems like they're way fucking smarter than me. It seems like they're mocking me, they understand me, and they're so beyond anything that I could ever experience on this planet. It seems like I don't know if there is anything other than this dimension. I don't know. But scientists seem to explain it in some sort of a way where I'm willing to listen to them, but I don't...
There's definitely something else, just the fact that this is all atoms and it's moving, everything's moving, is beyond my scope. I mean, I can't, like when you said something one time, and I think we were sitting on stage, and about, we have no control over our journey through space as a planet.
Yeah.
And the thing that's interesting to me is we have absolutely no control. I mean, if this planet just dropped for some gravitational reason, there's nothing we could do.
What if it just started falling?
That's what I'm saying.
Like there's a whole solar
like a
system,
comet.
Everything's spinning, and our planet just drops.
What would we do? I mean, we're going, oh, fuck.
Get in my spaceship.
Somebody put something in my drink?
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, we're fleas.
That's
Fleas
why,
on a dog.
That's what cracks me up about people who are so full of themselves. I'm thinking, what What are you fucking cocky for? We don't even know what we're doing here.
That's what they tell you when you do DMT. That's what those things are doing when they're giving you the finger. They're like, you fucking idiot. You take yourself seriously?
Wouldn't it be cool if it was always there? Those guys are always around you, and the only thing that psychedelics does is speed down your timing belt a little so you can see them. Kind of like where dogs are always barking at invisible things, and sometimes dogs... What if dogs see like DMT the whole time with you mixed into it?
I don't think dogs bark at invisible things. They hear sounds
What's
that you
DMT
can't
mean?
hear. Dimethyltryptamine. Rick Strassman will be on the podcast, folks. He'll be on sometime soon. We're working out the date, but I'll be talking to him soon. He'll be flying in. It'll either be most likely it'll be October. Looking forward to it. And Rick Strassman, if anyone knows who he is, he's one of the anyone doesn't rather. He's one of the first guys to ever get permission from the DEA to do university studies on dimethyltryptamine, on psychedelic drugs that are Schedule I drugs. And he did this series of tests out of the University of New Mexico and wrote a book about it called DMT, the Spirit Molecule, where they were injecting intravenous DMT into people's bodies, where it's the longest trip. If you smoke it, it goes directly into your bloodstream, but your body brings it back to baseline in about 10 to 15 minutes, depending upon the dose. But if you inject it, it takes a half hour. And apparently these people all had like these intense DMT trips, like what I'm talking about, but that went on for 30 minutes.
Fuck that, right?
Fuck that. Get me in there. Sign me up.
So you would do a 30-minute one?
Yeah, dude. I did 5 of them the other day. I did one after the other.
Wow.
Yeah, we kept doing it.
Damn.
It was amazing. Yeah, you walk out of there, you feel better about life, you feel better about people, you feel sorry for like angry, shitty people. Instead of being mad back at them, you feel sorry for them.
And you're not concerned with any side effects?
No, none. There's none. I think the side effects that I had when I did it those years ago when I was talking to you about it, I think a lot of those side effects were based on where I was in my head at that time. That it was so obliterating. And then it took me a while to sort of come to grips with what I learned from that experience. But this experience, which is at least 2 years since my last one, this experience was only positive. There was nothing negative about it. It was like I was ready for this experience. Like instead of it like knocking me in the dirt, I had learned enough from my last one that I came into it with in a good place. Like you're always going to have like a certain amount of ridicule from them. Like you're always going to like it'll put a lot of your ideas and your like a lot of your like what you think is important in a perspective. So I think like that always happens because I think being a person, stopping at red lights, talking to people, dealing with customer service on the phone, like you develop just a certain pattern of behavior that you think is normal for existing in society, and that normalcy you carry around with you like a shield. And when you do DMT, they go, "Give me that." They throw it away. You're like, "You silly! Like look at all this," and they're showing you this insane fractal universe that you exist in, and it's only positive to me. But that's me. I wouldn't advise it. You know, like I said, I had that one weird trip that fucked me up for a couple weeks, and I'm pretty stable and sane in comparison to a lot of people that I know. So if you're not stable or not sane or you're having real problems, I wouldn't recommend you doing it.
Yeah.
Right here. That's me.
That's you. I would recommend you doing it though.
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very... I've had a few bad trips, like we've talked about in the past, and I've still done it, even though knowing those bad trips. But there was also a recent time where I did mushrooms where I remember going, you know what? I think I'm done with this. I'm not going to learn anything more from this. This is now just kind of like me fucking with my brain that hopefully everything works out okay. You know?
You could definitely learn more.
I would hate
Stop
if I
lying to
got
yourself.
I'll still. I'm not writing it off, but that's what I felt my last trip though. When I was in my trip,
I would hate getting stuck in there.
Yeah.
Eddie Bravo's tattoo artist. I forget the gentleman's name, but he's a really good tattoo artist. The guy who did that biomech stuff on his arm. Mm-hmm. He did DMT like 100 days in a row. And somewhere during the trip, the DMT entities were like, hey, no more. Stop. Enough. Like they were telling him, you got to stop doing this.
Wow.
But he was creating all this artwork and he was having all these visions, and he wanted to be in the DMT realm more than he wanted to be in the regular world. So he's like pulling back from the regular world. He was like, he didn't want to interact with people. He just couldn't wait to get back to his house to get blasted again. So he'd go into hyperspace.
When you finally get into just the DMT realm, you just become homeless, right? That's what those guys are probably on the streets. They've done so much drugs, most of them mixed with schizophrenia in their backgrounds, maybe. But those are just people that have fucked their brains up, right?
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people are just mentally ill. I don't think they've done it necessarily to themselves with drugs. I think that would be unfair to assume. I think a lot of those guys are just people. Look, some people get cancer. Some people have, serious diseases. I have hypothyroidism. Some people have.
You have that?
Yeah, I have that. It's hereditary. My mother has it.
What's that do to you?
I take a thyroid medication. It fixes it, but which really fixes it fine. Doesn't affect me at all. But it would make me real tired towards the end of the day.
Right.
When I was on Fear Factor, I started getting concerned. Because I was getting these weird headaches. They were weird. Like at the end of the day, I would be so exhausted, and I was getting these headaches where it was like my head was just compressed, and it felt like the only solution was to sleep. Like I would fall asleep like watching TV, and I was like, this is not normal. Like, this is not I know what a normal tired feels like. This does not feel like a normal tired, and they call it Hashimoto's disease. And it's just some weird hereditary failure of your thyroid gland.
That's part of the endocrine system,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. It just comes from, they don't know what it comes from, but a lot of people get it.
My ex-girlfriend had that. Remember, you helped her because she was having really bad ups and downs, and she tried all these different ones, then you turned her on to this one.
Yeah, Armor Thyroid.
Yeah.
Armor Thyroid is made from pigs' thyroids, and it's very biocompatible to human beings. It makes it essentially like you don't have an issue. But I had the other stuff. The different thyroid medications weren't so good until I got this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have it, man. It's super common. Sometimes it's...
I would never have guessed that because you have so much fucking energy.
That was what was weird to them. They didn't understand why I was so lean. When they brought me and they tested me, they're like, how come has this affected your weight? Have you gotten fat? And I was like, not at all. No, because I would push through it. Even though I would be tired, I would force myself to work out. And when you're doing jiu-jitsu, it's so intense that you're fighting for your life essentially when you're on the mat, and so there's no way you can half-ass a workout. So I stayed lean, even though I had this issue. But it was definitely affecting my endurance. Like I noticed a big difference since I started taking it.
And now you're back to normal?
Totally normal, yeah. But people have weird things. I mean, you were talking about kidney stones. Some people have kidney diseases. Some people have failure of their fucking. What Rich Voss and Bonnie McFarlane have his next door neighbor. They were talking about on their radio show today, who's losing his liver. His liver's dying. He drank too much and he killed his liver, and he's waiting for a fucking transplant. Shit goes wrong, man. The body doesn't always work forever. Nobody gets out alive. Do.
I've been drinking again.
Oh Jesus, Dom! Now you tell us. You want to drink right now?
No.
Okay, good. It's a test. That means you could put it away.
Yeah.
You didn't get all shaky in the head.
I wake up fucking drunk every day.
Every day?
Every day.
Wow. Just give yourself a day off.
I was thinking about that maybe tonight.
Well, we'll play some pool after this. Give yourself a break. You don't want to play pool drunk. You'd be upset with yourself.
Do you enjoy drinking water, or is water hard for you to drink?
I love drinking water.
You love water?
What kind of question is that?
I hate water.
Do you enjoy drinking water?
I mean, I like Tang
You
better.
hate water?
Yeah.
Why?
It just doesn't do it for me. I'd rather drink Gatorade, but water.
That's fucking terrible for you. Well, I mean, it's not bad for you after you work out because you need to replenish the sugars. The electrolytes and sugars, too.
Right.
Like, one of the best things after you work out is actually chocolate milk.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chocolate milk is great, especially after you lift weights, because it has a little bit of protein in it. It has milk proteins. It also has casein, I think it's called, and sugar because of the chocolate and the syrup and all that jazz. It actually replenishes your glycogen. It's like the best. That's me in chocolate milk.
Well, first of all,
Look at those
me.
pouty lips.
that is you.
Sexy as fuck.
Where's this, Joe?
That was a long time ago, man. That's early 2000s, somewhere around there.
Wow, we've known each other a long time, brother.
Yeah, man. We've known each other since the 90s, my brother. Dom and I, we played pool at Amsterdam Billiards in like 1993 or something.
Well, you had just gotten that show, I think.
I don't even think I had it yet.
Oh, you didn't have it yet?
I don't think so. I think I'd just done your show. I did that Showtime thing with you in Montreal, and then we ran into each other.
That's where we knew it, at Amsterdam. Yeah. I love that place.
That was great. The one on the Upper West Side was great. The new one's great too. It's on the East Side.
I haven't seen it. Where's it at?
I don't remember the streets, but it's like lower numbers on the East Side. It's great. It's like New York has a bunch of pool halls, but L.A. they're all gone, man. They're all gone. All the pool halls in
I used to enjoy
LA.
that one, Hollywood Billiards. We went, you know, it was fun too. The other one, we could take the girls out.
Oh yeah,
at the Hollywood Athletic Club.
Hollywood Athletic Club. Yeah, that was great. That was back in the '90s. Dominic.
Burbank still has a good one.
Yeah, they still have. What is it, Fantasia or something like
Yeah.
that? Yeah, that's a good one.
This is a nice table you got here.
Yeah, that's a good table. That's an old Gold Crown 2. That's from the 1970s.
I'm excited to rack balls.
4-inch pockets, my friend. Very small
Oh,
pockets.
no, really?
Oh,
Oh,
they're
God.
going to hurt your soul.
It's gonna break.
Yeah, this guy Ernesto Dominguez, a top pool player. He's also a great table mechanic, and his son Oscar Dominguez, a top pro. And they make these they cut these table pockets.
They made this?
Well, they built the table.
Oh, okay.
So they make these table openings like 4-inch holes. So it's very, very difficult.
What's
to
a
play
normal
in.
one?
5.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, suffer.
My back's gonna be killing me from racking.
See, that's something I would do if there was if I couldn't do stand up anymore. I would try playing pool professionally. I'd try going on the tour if there was a tour. The tour's kind of dead now.
It's amazing because it's such a great sport.
It needs a television show.
Yeah,
Pool needs like Larry the Cable Guy to travel the country.
you're right.
It needs something. I thought about doing it for a while. I thought about doing a show where I go from town to town and play the best guy in the house or something like that. But people would get bored.
I told you this before. You got too much going in your life to become a pro. To put in the practice it would take to be a pro.
I know, but I get obsessed. Get obsessed with things, Dom Irrera.
I've
You don't
seen-
get obsessed with anything? If you get the old fucking moves back, you wouldn't try a little bit of pro ball? Come on, a little bit of dribbling in between the legs. People don't know. You're a good basketball player.
I was. I could shoot.
You could beat somebody at horse, you think? Fuck people up at horse?
I had these two kids. I was in Ohio, and I guess they heard I could play basketball. They said, "Were you a good basketball player?" I said, "Well, for a comedian." They go, "Could you jump?" I go, "I could grab the rim." They go, "At my height, that's a good jump." They go, "Were you fast?" I go, "I was really fast." They go, you? I go, "Not what you see now, you fucking idiots." me, not this fucking bloated old Chinese man, whatever the fuck I am. So, no, you know, like a fucking 145 pounds of monkey muscle.
When you see your face go Chinese, do you have the urge to just walk around like this? Do you have the urge to fight it?
I don't know what happened. Is that a disease? Look at me. I don't know what the fuck happened to my head.
I think it's a lot of it is water
alcohol?
retention, alcohol.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Your body fat rises. Your whole face gets Chinese-like, very moon
Joe, I
pie-ish.
want you to be honest with me. Have I lost too much? Have I lost too much weight? Do I look gaunt to you?
You look beautiful. I love you no matter what you look like.
I wish you were a hot chick.
This drinking thing, is this something you want to do something about, or are you just gonna?
Yeah, I got it.
You gotta.
I can't-
Before you've done it like cold turkey, right?
Yeah. My doctor said just take a half a Xanax and you can. I said, will I get convulsions and shit if I stop drinking cold turkey? He says, no. See, I guess because my body withdrew from it all day today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not like I'm drinking. I get up and have a drink, and then you ask me if I want to drink. I go, yeah, I could go for one. It's not like that.
Right. It's just you convenient, like it's a pattern that you fall into when you go out at night.
I love being high, and like I'll sit there at night and I'll go, all right, I'm gonna have like 2 shots. And then I go, all right, 6 shots.
6 shots.
Yeah, I just keep
Every
fucking-
night.
Yeah.
What's your main drink?
Wow.
Your go-to
Whatever I
drink?
can reach. I like
Sex on the beach.
Jameson. I like dirty martinis.
Oh, so you just drink straight with no mixers, or
Yeah.
maybe start doing large drinks, and then it's like like I do ginger ale.
No, he
and
wants to
turkey.
get drunk.
See, I want to get drunk. I don't want to get.
He's
I don't
not
want to
trying
enjoy.
to like sit there sipping.
I don't want to enjoy like
fruitcake.
Fruitcake. Hey, jackass, open up your ears.
Yeah, put this umbrella in your drink. It makes it more difficult to find the liquid. It's on the top. You got to move it around. It makes your drink slower.
I fucking hate like pina coladas and shit like that.
Really?
Yeah. Do you like that?
Do you like getting caught in the rain? Do you like the smell of the ocean or the taste of champagne?
I like Jimmy
Do you like
Buffett.
Making love at midnight? I don't think that was Jimmy Buffett. If you like pina coladas, who was
I
that?
thought it was
Jimmy
Jimmy
Buffett.
Buffett.
No, I don't believe so.
Look it up, motherfucker.
Yeah, I
You
feel like it's
sexy
someone else.
motherfucker. Shaking that ass, shaking that
Yeah, I
ass.
feel like it's someone else.
Yep, Jimmy Buffett.
Is it?
Yep.
Man,
if you
that-
like pina-
Don't you
I
bring
didn't
your
think
primitive
that was-
skills to me about music, Mr. Rogan.
no, it's Rupert Holmes.
What?
Hey,
You fucking knucklehead.
This is Jimmy Buffett.
Rupert Holmes, recorded by American singer Rupert Holmes.
I think it was made famous by Jimmy Buffett.
It's on the Midnight Special. Burt Sugarman. Here we go.
It's happy hour, guys. Can I get you something to drink?
This is Rupert Holmes.
you're both right.
No, this is the famous one. Yeah, that's it. It's Rupert Holmes. So don't trust Brian Redband to Google anything for you.
No, but
don't
if I put
bet your life on
if
it.
I play Jimmy Buffett's song, it's probably going to sound exactly the same. But
think-
that's probably the one that you
Play
know.
the Jimmy Buffett. I want to hear it. 'cause
Okay,
I think
play the
that's-
Jimmy Buffett. Well, this is the guy who made he had the hit. The guy who had the hit that was on the radio is
yeah.
Rupert Holmes.
Okay.
Yeah, you were right. I think.
I'm definitely right. I know how to Google. You Google with your dick or something. I don't
No,
even
but
think
I'm-
you pay attention to what you write in there.
I honestly thought that was a Jimmy Buffett
Jimmy
song.
Buffett is the fucking Margaritaville guy.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
He's not a pina colada guy.
How did we go from talking about the universe to this?
Brian Redband. Fucking, he's the crowbar in any intellectual discussion. Clang, clang. Your gears get
See,
ground up, and then the fucking elves give you the finger.
See, but like, look at things like this. Like, if you like pina colada, Jimmy Buffett. Like,
That's an
it's-
idiot that
yeah.
doesn't know that it's not Jimmy Buffett. That's just some moron on YouTube. Unless Jimmy Buffett actually sang a version of it.
I
See
think
if
he
you can
probably
find
did.
a Jimmy Buffett version of it.
Okay.
But Jimmy Buffett was wasting away again in Margaritaville. He has a whole fucking station on XM. You can listen to Jimmy Buffett all the
Yeah, I
time.
don't think I want that.
If you're in Florida, you would. If you're in Florida and you're popping Xanax and drinking booze and just fucking sitting on the
I don't
beach
do
with your
them together,
flip-flops.
Joe.
You used to, right?
No.
Never?
No.
But you take a Xanax in the morning, and by the time it wears off, then you're drinking.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Is there a version of it?
Well, there's one I was showing, but you're right. It's mostly all just Rupert Holmes, and Jamie
Yeah.
just showed me something like the 5 songs that people think are from the wrong artist. So it's actually like a really
okay.
well,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it seems like it would be kind of a Jimmy Buffett song, but I knew it wasn't him.
And it's because of Margaritaville. I think you totally nailed it right
Yeah.
there. I think that's why I just immediately thought
It's one of those old ass songs that you don't understand, like The Things You Do for Love. Who the fuck sang that? It's like walking in the rain and the snow when there's nowhere to go,
And you're feeling like a part of you is dying.
Who the fuck?
We're looking for the answer in her eyes.
I had a copy of that when I was a little kid. Like maybe 6 or 7, and we had a 45 of that song, "Things You Do for Love." It was like the first
Who
song
sang
I
that?
ever
I don't know who
owned.
sang that.
Who the fuck knows? See if Brian will pull it up.
What's it called?
Jimi Hendrix,
It's
Led Zeppelin,
a British.
The Who,
It's a British band called 10cc.
10cc.
I've heard of them.
Wow, really?
You know, a friend of mine was on a cruise ship, and Robert Plant was on it, and somebody called him Lead.
Oh my
Though his
god!
first name was Lead.
What a disaster! Why would Robert Plant go on a fucking? Why would he ever do that?
I don't
Get
know.
trapped on a boat?
Oh, I fucking. Have you ever done it?
No.
I did 2 of them.
No. I've been on fishing boats.
I don't like boats.
That's it.
See, I like
boats.
yachts.
If I lived near a lake, I would be in heaven. If I lived in a lake and I could just pull like a nice bass boat out there and go fishing, I love fishing.
Really?
It's so fun. So primal, too. Something about catching your dinner. You throw that sucker on ice, fillet it, get home, cook it, eat it. Very satisfying. Something like caveman style satisfying. It just feels great. Have a couple of beers when you're out there, cast a line, enjoy the
I'd rather
day.
just go to the seafood restaurant.
Oh, dumb. You say that, but
Joseph.
do you ever catch a big fish? It's
No,
fucking
I never
fun.
fish. Look at me. Do I look like I fish?
I got to put up some YouTube videos of me and Ari when we were in Alaska last summer. We had a great time.
Sounds romantic.
We, well, that was that part too. But we caught the salmon run, like right when the king salmon were running strong.
Oh, wow.
And we caught like 7, 8 fish a day, and they were giant, like big 30, 40-pound salmon.
Jeez.
It was so fun. I got some videos. I need to put them up on YouTube. I've had them for a while, but we had a fucking blast because we had a gig up there. We scheduled a gig for one day, but we went fishing for 2 days before the gig. It was so much fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Joe, did you see the video of the grouper eating a shark?
Yes. Put that shit up. It's probably going to get us pulled from
Groupers are
YouTube.
gigantic, right?
That's
Some
what's-
of them.
This is the part of the show where we say this will get us pulled from YouTube. If you're tired of shit getting pulled from YouTube, folks, go to Vimeo. Vimeo doesn't pull things like YouTube does,
Right.
For whatever reason.
Here we go.
But this groupers, if you don't know, they get to be like hundreds of pounds. They're fucking huge. So this guy has caught this shark, and the grouper just ganks his fucking shark. He's pulling the shark in, and it's enormous. I mean, they're like 400 or 500 pounds sometimes, these Goliath groupers. And it comes up, and it snatches his fucking shark. Like, he's got the shark floating around on the top, and the fish can't help himself. He's like, fuck it. Here he goes. Look at this thing. Look at the size of this fucking thing.
One bite.
One bite inhales the entire shark.
Wow.
Fucking unreal. That's how big a Goliath grouper is. And if you catch one of those bitches, you're going to be pulling that thing in for hours. You're going to be hanging on.
I don't even like going to a seafood restaurant. They tell you to cook your own fish.
Do they do that?
Yeah, in Hawaii I've seen it.
They
What the
tell
fuck
you to
did I
cook
come
your
here
own
for?
fish.
Do I gotta clean my plate too?
Don't you like you go on a date? It's like we're doing activities. We're cooking together.
Go turn it over for me.
I like dipping fondue. I take the bread, I dip it in the cheese. Ooh.
That's good too, Joe.
People like that Korean barbecue. You have the hot thing in front of you, and you slap down the. There's a place
Yeah, I don't like
in the
that.
mall out here. They do
I
that.
love that place.
It's annoying. I
You don't like
it
it?
at all. No, it's stupid.
The only bad thing is you smell so bad when you leave. Like you just.
If I was gonna cook myself, I wouldn't cook like that. I like cooking over like charcoal, like lump charcoal. Can you get that smoky flavor?
It's more about all you can eat though.
Oh, is it all you can eat?
Yeah,
I don't
so you
think
just
this
said-
place is not all you can eat.
Oh yeah. You choose which meat group you want. Like they have like an $18 per person, $24, $30, and if you get the 31, you get a different menu. You could just order as much as you want. From
I
that
don't
menu.
like all
Oh.
you can eat things. Psychologically, it
Right.
seems to lower the quality.
Really?
All you can eat sushi?
Oh yeah, but Brazilian steakhouses,
Oh, that's
it's fantastic. Those churrascarias where you have that card.
They carve it down.
Yeah, like it's green on one side, red on the other. When it's red, you want to take a break. When it's green, they just keep coming with new food.
Yeah, they have
Oh.
a place like that in Philly.
After Eddie Bravo fought in Metamoris, or had his grappling match in Metamoris, we went to Fogo de Chao in near the Beverly Center.
That's the one.
Oh,
That's the good.
Brian and I have eaten it about
Most of them.
most of them across the country.
There's a new one in San Diego. I need to try.
Yeah, I
That's
know. I
great.
noticed. I noticed when I was down at the American Comedy Company when we would show up at a town and we found a Fogo, we'd go, "Oh!" We get all excited. We go there.
Yeah, it's delicious.
And Joey Diaz would look at you like you're an asshole if you go anywhere near that salad bar. Why you fucking with that salad bar, dog? Listen, sit down here. You're in no danger. You're in no danger. Bring it over. Bring it over. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? He'd start talking in Spanish to the fucking guys with the skewers. They speak Portuguese. He's talking to them in Spanish, trying to find some middle ground.
I recently went and they hide that picanha now. That guy is hard to find. You ask like two different people and you get so much chicken sausage and bacon stuff and you're like, just give me the picanha.
I think it's a matter of how many people are there. Like some things are more popular.
Right.
But last time we were there, they kept coming with it. They had the picanha and the garlic beef. Oh, picanha is like top sirloin. What they do is they have like an open fire. It's like a wood fire. It's like real. And they have these skewers that they lean over the fire and the skewers spin around. And when they deem that it's ready, then they bring it over your table, slice pieces off the
Yeah, I've
outside,
seen that.
and then they put it right back on the fire.
Resalt it.
Yeah, they resalt it and put have a basting thing
Yeah.
that they do. And so there's this big piece of meat and they put it over this fire and they just slowly cook the the outside, and then they put it back in, slowly cook the outside.
Now I'm getting hungry.
Oh, there's a place near here. You want to eat after this?
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
By the way, Joe, our Green Mountain Grill, they have a new app now that you can use the app to tell when your food's done.
Yeah. They sent me the info. I got to hook it up, though. You got to get a guy to come to your house, though, and plug it
put
in.
a sensor thing in it.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. But that Green Mountain Grill is awesome. Yeah. That's a pellet grill. If you don't know what that is, it's a smoker. It smokes your food like an oven. That's the hot smoke of this burning firewood or this burning hardwood. They take hardwood, and when you, like, say if you bought a table, like this table is made out of oak. Well, someone who cut this wood, you leave a lot of sawdust, and they buy the hardwood sawdust, and they compress it into these pellets, which with the natural sugars of the wood, there's no additives. It's just the wood itself. And then you pour these pellets. It looks like almost like, you ever seen that pine kitty litter to use that stuff?
Yeah.
It's the best stuff.
Right.
It cuts the smell back the most.
Yeah.
But you take these pellets and you pour it into this like hopper. It's like this box. You close the lid on it, and then you set the temperature, and it automatically keeps the fire going. It's like got this what is it called? An element that heats it up, and it spins it in like this gear, and the pellets automatically get introduced, and the fire has the exact right amount of temperature, and you can keep it at like for 250 or 350.
It's
You're
like
trying
a
to cook
crock
something
pot
slow.
for grills.
It's amazing. It's so easy. Like, I used to have another kind of smoker. I used to have to add wood to it all the time. It was a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
This thing does it all itself. And it tastes like all those guys. Like, have you ever watched those barbecue competitions? You ever watch those things on like the Food Channel?
Sure.
A lot of those guys, they use those pellet grills now. The pellet grills are like a big deal.
Yeah, you put the meat on, earlier in the afternoon. You come back and it's just falling off the bone.
No, it's pretty badass.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass. I'm a big fan.
Check
I'm
out-
a big fan, Tom Irrera.
Right back at you, Joseph.
Big fan. I love cooking, man. Cooking is fun. It's especially fun when you're cooking something that you killed yourself. When you cut it up yourself and you slap that bitch on the grill. It's very exciting.
Never killed anything.
Would you be willing? I'm thinking about doing a hunting show. This is the idea of the hunting show. The idea of the hunting show is I go out with people that have never been hunting before. Whether it's comedians, like Hannibal Buress, he said he would go. A lot of guys are interested in going.
I would go to the 5-star hotel closest to where you go hunt.
And you wouldn't hunt?
No.
What if we took you out in a pickup truck and you could just roll down the window and fire it out the window?
Yes. Definitely.
Would you do that for
Yeah,
real?
that's my style.
You can do that in some places. In
Really?
Texas, there's a ranch that Aubrey hunted at where you literally shoot your rifle from the front seat of the truck.
Oh, I love that.
The fucking truck has no windshield. So you drive around on this truck. I don't know if it's like a Jeep or if it's an actual pickup truck. They knock the windshield out. But you drive around this truck, and then they get close to these herds of animals, and then they fucking set your rifle up right there through the window. Boom. You shoot it. Then you get out of the truck. You get it. You take a photo with it.
Oh, I got to get out of the truck?
You don't have to.
Okay.
I'll bring it to you.
I'm still in.
I'll bring it to you. And you can wave. Instead of taking a picture with the animal you kill, you just wave from the window. This is Dom. This is Dom's deer. And and then they take care of everything else. It's like the laziest way to hunt ever.
I would like that. Me and Sophie were in Hawaii, and she was snorkeling, and I found she's only you are so fucking lazy could find a way to snorkel without even going underwater. I got one of those rafts that you see through. Just put my head on that.
You just snorkeled with a raft?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. I snorkeled for the first time last time I was in Hawaii. It was awesome. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Swimming around a reef. We were around a reef. You're
Beautiful.
seeing all these fish moving around their little world. This little... I stepped on a sea anemone, though. This fucker went right in my foot.
Really?
Yeah, they had to pour vinegar all over my foot. You're supposed to do it if you're going to go near a reef. Like, reefs are really sharp.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do it with those scuba shoes. They
Oh,
have,
yeah.
Because I was just barefoot. But you step down the wrong spot, and these sea anemone, like, black spines went deep into my foot.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it fucked me up.
I never go in the ocean without shoes on. I just don't want to step on anything gross.
Like what? Condoms?
Like dead. I stepped on dead jellyfish once, and it was just disgusting. And just there's a lot of
Jellyfish.
gross stuff in the ocean.
Jellyfish can fuck you up, especially Australia.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to Australia, there's certain species of jellyfish that kill people every year.
Yeah. I was just there a couple months ago, and in Perth, they have the helicopters going over, to spot the sharks. They have that in Adelaide, too.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because they see them. They warn people.
Fuck that.
Big great white sharks. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
wild.
that's a scary spot. Apparently, the most scary spot for sharks is South Africa.
Australia's pretty bad.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
That's also a place where a lot of people surf too, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever surf?
Yeah.
Really?
I've surfed.
You surf, but what was it like?
Oh, I was a pretty good athlete then. I got up a couple times. I did it a few times. It's the thing about it. You have to be a strong swimmer to really get out there to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just like go 20 feet and expect to ride something in. You got to get
Right.
out.
And you got to climb on at just the right time too, right?
Yeah.
It's probably difficult.
It's very difficult.
There's a place in Abu Dhabi. I think it's Abu Dhabi or Dubai.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
They created an indoor surfing
Yeah, that's
pool.
pretty wild.
It's ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, isn't the whole idea is that you're out there in the ocean with nature? And these guys are
They're
like,
in the middle of the desert.
Well, we're in a pool in a mall.
Sometimes you got to settle.
Neil Brennan did comedy there back in. Was it Neil that used to say
Eddie Ift.
Eddie Ift. I mean,
Yeah,
Eddie Ift does
did it.
comedy?
He did. He tries.
I'm kidding.
No, he does.
That's right. Yeah.
Eddie Ift just had a Kickstarter. He created his own. Like mobile podcast van, like a van to go drive around and do podcasts. We talked about doing that on the podcast, like getting one of those streamers. What are those called?
Streamlines.
Streamlines. Those
Oh, yeah,
beautiful
those silver
silver
things?
ones. Yeah, those silver things. Is that called a streamline?
Yeah.
Why do I feel like it's called something else?
Streamline trailer. It's the silver one.
Yeah. Well, that thing, the cool looking retro looking one.
Yeah.
Gulfstream.
Jimmy Buffett had one.
Stream. I was actually thinking about recently just selling, because I have my second car, and selling it and try to get one of those and move Death Squad into that.
It's not a bad idea, dude. I thought about doing it too, and like that we could do them like on the road. You could do it like you show up an hour early for a gig, do a gig, do it in the parking lot. But the freaks would
Am I
find
still
you.
in the Death Squad?
Yeah, there was no initiation fees. There's no.
You got your tattoo on your back still?
The lower back.
The lower back, two dolphins
Right?
kissing?
Where would you like to come? Put it there. Yeah, this one. There's a company that makes like a high-end version of these things where the inside of it is like Airstream. There it is. I know you fucked it up.
Streamline. What did I say? Streamline?
Yep. But there is a Streamline. See, this is a Streamline trailer.
Oh,
So there's some of them are Streamlines.
Yeah.
They just ripped off the Airstream name.
yeah. Look at that. Look at that sexy thing. How much are these?
They're fucking expensive.
Wow.
They're not cheap
2015.
because they're really made well.
Oh, that'd be so. And you can
There's
just
a place
attach
up
to your
in
truck.
Big Sur where you rent them. They have them set up on this property, and that's how you camp. They have like a little grill out there. Like Duncan was up there for like a week. He loved it. He said Big Sur is his favorite place on the planet.
It's beautiful.
I know there's one in Joshua Tree where a lot of LA comics they rent out a trailer. They have I went to it also where they had this big circle of trailers and each one's decorated like a different, like the 70s, the retro one, the Star Trek one.
Do you have any interest in going to Burning Man?
No.
Next year, we should podcast from Burning Man.
If we're in a trailer, yes, but
Oh yeah, dude, we're gonna be in trailers.
yeah, that's what I mean.
We're not camping.
I will go there if there's a trailer, but
What is Burning Man?
It's a ridiculous festival out in the middle of the desert where everyone gets together and they all like dance around and do drugs. They don't shower. It's an excuse to be stinky. It's like a psychedelic sort of a festival, and these people they all get together. Look at this one, Brian. They have one that's like a truck. They have like a coach, and you can drive it around. They call them Interstate EXTs. Look at this.
oh wow.
Yeah. So you could drive it. So it could have like your kitty cat on the side of it. You get someone to paint it, or get one
Get
of
a
those
wrap.
a wrap. Yeah. And you take one of these things around. If you really developed a plan, and like set forth like a real like legitimate plan to get one of these things, you could do it in a couple of years.
Here's Will Smith at Burning Man this year on Segways.
Will Smith was there?
Yeah.
No. For real, or is it a Will
Yeah.
Smith mask?
No. It's Will.
Which one's Will Smith?
This one right here.
Oh, they're dancing together? What are they doing? They're filming something?
Yeah, they're getting jiggy with it.
Are they getting jiggy with it?
yeah.
Dennis McKenna, Graham Hancock, rather, he goes there every year. I think he just got back from it. It just happened, right?
Yeah, it was last week, and actually the first day or two was canceled because of rain. They had rain, and it flooded all the roads going into it. They even have like these really small ones. Look, they just attach to the back of your trailer, and then you can just leave it at home if you want to.
Yeah, there's some good ones. Rain? Where is it?
Arizona?
Where does Burning Man take place?
I think it's in the
I
desert
want
somewhere.
to think it was California. Why did I think it was California? Dumb. Any
Death Valley.
Yeah, that's California. Yeah. Any desire to go to Burning Man, dumb?
No desire at all, Joe.
What if we're doing a podcast down there next year? Would you be willing to stay for one day? We'll limo you in?
Yeah.
You come out, you do the podcast,
Yes.
we limo you out? You're in?
Yeah.
Dom Irrera's in.
That's great.
Heard it here first.
Limo him in to the podcast. We hang out, we drink, we eat.
Well, we've been talking about taking this bitch mobile, doing some podcasts in New York, doing some podcasts in other places where I can't get certain guests to come here, so I want to go to them.
I like it here.
You like it here? It's a good spot.
Yeah, very good.
But you know.
What'd you do with the werewolf?
It's right out there. It's right out by the pool table.
How the fuck could I miss that?
You're not paying attention.
Jeez.
Black Rock Desert is where Burning Man is.
Where's that? Arizona?
Nevada? Didn't they try to enforce laws there this year? They're saying like they catch people with drugs, they're gonna arrest them and some shit. Check your car for weapons. All that.
Leave
fucking
people alone with
Yeah.
the fucking drugs. Jeez.
Hey,
They gotta make money somehow, Dom Irrera.
That's exactly what it
You
is.
gotta keep all those people in uniform.
Who gives a fuck? Why do people even care?
old people, conservatives, people who want tax
Why
dollars.
is it their business?
It's not their business. That's the point. That's what makes young people so angry. It's almost like they know that their control they have is fleeting, and they know that there's kind of a new age in the air. Like what was going on in the 60s is going on now, but to a much larger extent and to a much more broad extent. Like the understanding of how corrupt our system is, the understanding of like how flawed it all is pieced together, even by the people that are in it, they're involved in it. It's like they're all admitting that the whole thing is a disaster, whether it's the financial system, the political system. And then on top of that, like marijuana is becoming legal. Whether people like it or not, it's spreading. Colorado is making so much fucking tax money
Isn't that
off
great?
of it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's also happening in Washington State, unprecedented numbers.
Well, the two Super Bowl teams were both from states that was legal.
Of course, high as fuck. Come up with good ideas. Excellent strategies.
Joe, I don't even, I smoked pot 4 times in my life, and I always
Want to go for number 5? No?
Just one hit.
Just a little bit?
One hit.
One hit.
That's the way it always starts. Then I'll be a heroin addict in a week.
It'll make you feel good.
It's not a gateway drug.
It's a gateway
Tom.
drug, Joe.
That's the
It's
Partnership for a Drug-Free America trying to trick you.
I'm totally convinced that it's not a gateway drug. By the way, I don't know anybody that went from pot to heroin.
Well, you could, but you
Yeah,
could
I'm
also
sure you
go
could.
from toothpaste to heroin. It doesn't mean that it's a gateway. Like
No, I agree.
everybody drinks water who does heroin, by the way.
I think heroin should be legal. By the way,
I do too. I think everything should be legal, but I think there should be consequences to selling people things that are bad for them. So I think that if heroin is legal, but if you're selling heroin, I think there should be massive consequences. I think if people die of overdoses, I think you should be held responsible. Just like you should be held responsible, say, if you come up with some new medication. If you're a pharmaceutical company and you come up with a new medication that deals with migraines, but it also winds up killing a certain percentage of people.
Yeah.
You should be held financially responsible. You should
I
be able
agree.
to be sued. He's got a joint for you.
what are you, the devil?
Come on, one
He's
hit.
the devil. Look at him. That's what the devil looks like. Everybody thinks the devil looks mean. He looks cuddly.
Looks like Red Band.
Devil looks like a big sweetie.
Go ahead.
Yeah, say you want.
I don't want it.
No, he doesn't. Stop being a pusher. What were we talking about before the devil?
Just the legality of drugs and how ridiculous. And you were saying that people who sell, excuse me,
I had a point.
sell drugs to people should be held
that's
responsible.
right. Yeah, being responsible for the repercussions of what happens to people when they use it. If people die of heroin overdoses, if that's possible from something that you sell, you should be held financially responsible up to a point. Because you could die from salt.
You could die. If you give a guy bacon every day for breakfast, that's going to be dangerous for his heart.
If you eat, no, it's not bacon. Believe it or not, is not bad for you.
Bacon?
Yep, not bad for
It's the
you.
most delicious thing I've ever had in my life.
It's not bad for you. You know what's bad for you? Being fat enough that bacon is bad for you. That's what's bad
Oh,
for
you
you.
don't have to say it like that.
I'm not saying that you're fat.
No, you said it with you projected.
It wasn't to
the
you. I'm
fat
looking at
enough.
you because you're like the audience of my delivery, but I didn't mean you.
You meant me.
I meant Ralphie May. I meant someone larger.
That's not me.
I love Ralphie, by the way. These are just jokes.
You're talking about me. I'm right here.
Yeah, he's right there. But when you're so fat that bacon's doing you in, Well, some people have naturally high cholesterol too. That's another thing to take into consideration. There's some
Yeah.
people that genetically have high cholesterol, and they have to watch it.
Yeah.
And you also have to balance out your good cholesterol and your bad cholesterol. A lot of people think that cholesterol is all bad. There's LDL and HDL. There's good cholesterol, and then there's cholesterol that is it's not good for you.
Mine is good.
But if you have like low cholesterol, like there's certain cholesterol that's actually good for brain function.
Yeah.
I think.
What kind of cholesterol
I've just
is that?
heard that though. Cholesterol
The hipster cholesterol.
good. I'm gonna write cholesterol good. Okay, here it is. Good versus bad cholesterol from the American Heart Association. Okay, so this is not bullshit at all. HDL and LDL triglycerides. What's the difference? An LDL cholesterol is considered the bad cholesterol because it contributes to plaque, which is a thick, hard deposit that can clog arteries and make them less flexible. So arterial sclerosis is what comes from the bad cholesterol, and those narrowed arteries will give people heart attacks. HDL cholesterol is considered good cholesterol because it helps remove LDL cholesterol from the arteries, which is interesting.
That's
So
Crestor does that.
is that
Yeah.
a pill? Yeah. And Lipitor too, right? Is
Yeah.
that same kind of stuff? Experts believe that HDL acts as a scavenger carrying LDL cholesterol away from the arteries and back to the liver where it is broken down and passed from the body. 1/4 to 1/3 of blood cholesterol is carried by HDL. A healthy level of HDL cholesterol may also protect against heart attack and stroke, while low levels of HDL cholesterol have been shown to increase the risk of heart attacks. Dr. Mark Gordon explained this to me when I had my blood work done. And what he was telling me is that there's a lot of issues like where people think they have high cholesterol. And then, they say, oh, my cholesterol count is this. And you say, okay, what does that mean? Is it your HDL or your LDL? And then most people don't even know.
Right.
Like they used to not know. And if you're dealing with a physician that doesn't understand the difference between the two, if they're not an expert in it, like they can give you bad advice and get you on medication that you don't even need. Like you have high HDL, you have high healthy cholesterol. You can, you really want to balance. Allegedly, coming from me, I'm no doctor to steal one of your bits. I'm not a doctor,
You're
but
not. I had no idea.
so my point is, bacon not bad for you.
Diddy went to Burning Man this year and supposedly changed his life forever. Like, look at his picture of him at Burning Man, and then look at this.
He was at Burning Man with his own little umbrella. He
Yeah,
didn't even
he's
have a
little-
guy holding it for him.
No,
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's all pink.
Who's that?
P. Diddy.
And supposedly it changed his life. Words cannot explain. I'll never be the same.
Bacon is loaded with fats, but they're good fats. The fats in bacon are about 50% monosaturated, and a large part of those is oleic acid. This is the same fatty acid that olive oil is praised for and is generally considered heart healthy. 40% of it is saturated fat, accompanied by a decent amount of cholesterol, but we now know that the saturated fat isn't harmful, and cholesterol in the diet doesn't affect cholesterol in the blood. Fascinating.
Very. That's the greatest news I had all day. The bacon's
Bacon.
good for you.
Bacon and jogging.
Let's go get some bacon
Put
sandwiches.
the two of them together. You're going to the gym though, right? You work out?
Yeah.
Where do you work out? No, don't tell people. They'll fucking stalk you. They'll stalk you. They'll steal your underwear, break into your locker, and shit in it.
This place, Joe.
Kurtz.
Oh, that place. Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So you get a good workout there.
Yeah, I got a. Excuse me. I got a torn rotator cuff, partially torn. So it's been tough to lift the weights, and you get flabby right away at this age. But it's fun. I was in Perth, and I opened up an elevator was closed during a fire alarm. I pulled this thing.
Whoa.
Unbelievable timing. I'm in Chicago, fucking totally in pain. A guy comes up to me after, he goes, I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I got 20 doctors here. A couple of us were talking about you. You have a partially torn rotator cuff. I said, wow, you can tell by looking at me. He goes, absolutely. He said, you could see the way I was raising my hand. He says, come in tomorrow, pro bono, I'll take care of you.
Wow.
I says, I got insurance. He said, no, you made me laugh for 25 years, I'll take care of you. So I think it's going to be me, him, and a needle. It's like a whole group of doctors. And he's trying to be funny. He goes, "Is that the hand you come with?"
Oh.
He said, "Is that the hand you jerk off with?" I said, "Well, I jerk with that hand, but I off with this hand." And anyway, so I'm up there, and he gives me a needle in the shoulder. I said, "Well, while I'm up here, my hip hurts too." He goes, "I'll look at that." He X-rayed that, give me another fucking shot. It was great.
So the partially turned rotator cuff, does it need surgery?
No,
It's
85%. I mean, it's only 15% tour, so it just needs exercise.
So you have to stabilize it. Is that what it is?
You have to always be moving it.
Does it fuck with you right now? Like if you're moving around, like you're
Yeah,
doing
like
things?
sometimes like this, like moving it like that. I can't. That goes like this. I can't do.
I've never had like real shoulder problems, but I had some
Neither have I.
recently where I shot too many arrows. I got overzealous with my bow and arrow. I have a 90-pound bow and an 80-pound bow, and I shot the 90-pound bow like 150 times a day.
Oh, jeez.
It was just way too much. My shoulder just got worn out, and it was hurting for like a couple of months. But thankfully, it wasn't torn. It was just like tendinitis, like a very mild form of irritated tendons. But now it's 100%. It took like 5 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks.
I never
before it was
had
better.
anything like it. I was luckily it was my right hand because I'm left-handed. So
Yeah, it's not good. Shoulders are a weird joint.
Yeah.
Because shoulders move. They
Very
articulate in
complicated.
very strange ways as opposed to like knees, which just bend like a hinge.
yeah,
When a shoulder goes bad, it's bad for fighters. It's a real issue
Oh,
for fighters. Like they have to get surgery and they don't fight for a year. It's a long time out.
it's a career ender for baseball players.
Is it really?
For pitchers? Yeah.
Yeah, I
be.
would imagine it'd have to be really
They're
smooth. to
fucking
know.
whipping that arm back like
Yeah.
and it's really.
Can they
painful.
fix that now or still no?
Yeah, they can fix it.
But now it's not a career ender anymore.
Well, it can be. It's all according to how
Still
Dan-
can be.
Just like the elbow.
Wow, man, it's weird when you find out there's parts of your body that they can't fix. Like one of the things that I found out when I started to have back issues is they want to start cutting things. They want to start getting in there and fucking yanking shit out. But there's certain things that they just can't fix. Like they've started to give you artificial discs. They've started to give those to people.
Yeah.
Like they have spacers where these like plastic things that they screw in the place where your mushy disc used to be, and then now they have these titanium rotating discs that they put in your neck, and
Wow.
yeah, pretty crazy. And some people in other countries they do that, and they don't do it yet in America, I don't believe. So some people who get injured in America go to other countries
Right.
to get your fucking neck cut open. Like Germany does it, and England does it. They put a little fake disc in
Well,
there that moves around, screws and
So
shit.
much is how you get hit, like what you break, and like Bo Jackson. Remember Bo
Mhm.
Jackson? Great baseball and football player. He had a hip injury. It was the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. It
He
just
kept
whatever-
playing baseball for a little while.
He
after
tried,
that.
yeah. He was the first one that ever played with an artificial hip, but I mean, he was never the same.
He had so much power. He was able to hit home runs without even turning over. Like
Oh.
he didn't even totally rotate. He would like halfway rotate.
And he would get pissed. He would break a bat
Yeah.
on his leg. You know how fucking hard that is to do.
He's a super athlete. That guy, Bo Jackson, could have done anything. If he wanted to go into MMA, he would have been a
Oh
world
my
champion.
God.
He was such a super athlete. And they said he barely worked out, barely
He's
lifted
a
weights.
freak, yeah.
Just was naturally
Yeah.
super strong and just a great athlete.
Will Chamberlain was supposed to be like that because I'm from Philly and we always read about him.
Oh, I'd imagine. Look at the size of the guy.
But he was the fastest too.
That's
he was
incredible.
the fastest guy on his team. He was,
Well, you remember when Jordan was in his prime and he would literally fly through the air?
yeah.
He would fly. Like nobody had seen anything like that before.
Julius Erving.
Sort of. The sky hook, right?
No, that was the hook was Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh,
But Julius Erving was the first one that did the from the foul line in the dunk contest.
whoa,
Jumped
really?
from the foul line and dunked. Yeah.
It's so crazy that someone
His
could
hands
do
are
that.
so fucking big, Joe, that he could palm a record album.
What?
Can you imagine that? Like he put
Oh
a
my
record,
God,
he could pick
that's
it up
insane.
like that. Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
insane. That's insane. Yeah, imagine if Michael Jordan got into MMA and was just flying across the fucking cage and punching people in the head. Because there's levels of athleticism, you know?
Yeah.
There's the average guy, and then there's the above average guy, and then there's the guy who's above the above average guy, and then there's a super athlete, and then there's a Michael Jordan who makes the super athletes
Yeah.
look like
Imagine.
he's on another level.
LeBron
from them.
James does,
yeah,
too.
Same thing, right?
Yeah, an old buddy of mine is Charles Barkley. You know who he is.
Mhm,
And
sure.
He was telling me, he goes, look at me. He says, my thighs are 32 inches. He goes, I got a definite advantage. He goes, look at that little white guy, Scotty Brooks. He can barely touch the net.
Yeah, there's certain physical advantages that are undeniable.
Oh, yeah.
The idea that all men are created equal is fucking preposterous.
No, you could say the human soul is equal.
Or that you should be equal under the eyes of the law.
Yeah, but no, they're not equal.
Yeah, you could take all the steroids you want. You never be able to do what Michael Jordan did naturally.
No, and you can't practice being 6'10".
Yeah. That's also a weird thing, isn't it? Where like where people talk about like performance enhancing drugs should be illegal. They definitely should. But if they are, that means like the super athletes are always going to have an advantage. Just a natural, undeniable advantage in speed and power and the ability to move.
Well, racial differences make a difference. I mean, because
what are you, Jimmy the Greek over here?
No, they do. But I mean, physically, it's incredible. There has not been a white cornerback in the NFL that I remember in the last 20, 25 years. One position.
That's discrimination. That's why.
No, they're
glass
just
ceiling.
They're quicker.
No, they're trying to keep the white man down.
Yeah, right.
Dom, you come on this podcast, you start spreading black propaganda. It's the same thing every time you're here.
I hate all minorities, Joe.
Even white people?
Yes.
When white people become a minority, maybe everybody relax. Yeah. Also minority talk.
No, I don't. It's funny, the thing you say about race, because on a serious level, these guys can't say anything.
No.
Like, that's what's so funny about Barkley, because he's black, he can say stuff.
Right.
And he says that I know you can't say it, but I'm going to say it, whatever it is, But,
yeah, there's a lot of fucking, like, things that they used to say, like, on a regular basis, now they can't even say. So they've had to adjust over the last just few years.
Yeah. Oh, well, everything's so politically correct now. And now Sam, that guy Sam, got picked up by the Cowboys. The guy who came out of and said he was gay.
Yeah.
So now he's with a team. So.
Well, I heard that he was, according to Jamie, that he's the reason why they picked him up is that the Cowboys, the guy who owns the Cowboys, is into publicity.
Oh yeah,
think
totally.
So? You think so?
That's exactly it. Yeah. He's a money making machine. This guy. The Cowboys have been a 500 team for the last 10 years probably. They haven't won a Super Bowl in 20 years, and they're the most valuable franchise in America.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's hard to believe.
They have.
That doesn't even make any sense.
They're worth, I think, $3.2 billion.
Why? How come they don't have to win?
They don't have to win because their publicity. First of all, they're called America's Team. Do you know who named them that?
The owner?
Themselves, yeah, the owner. It's a guy named Tex Graham. But America's Team, they got the star and the glitter and the fucking.
Wait a minute. Is it the Dallas Cowboys and the dude's name is Tex?
Yeah, his name was Tex Graham.
He wins.
Yeah, but I mean, he's dead now, but he was the one that created that image.
Whatever happened to that show you used to do for Comedy Central? That was a funny show. You used to do like a show with football players.
Yeah, it was called Offsides. Well, what happened to it was the timing was bad. If Comedy Central was as big as they are now, they could have afforded more. But NFL Films was so fucking expensive that they just had to lift it. We had good ratings, but it just wasn't. Their footage cost so much for us to get, and I had so much fun with the players because they knew I wasn't a journalist. So they were like, I get Brett Favre is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Reggie White was their star of their team. And he said, he recognized me. He goes, man, I saw you on Oprah. And I said, I can't picture you sitting there with a Kleenex box going, I can't believe these two sisters never met before they were 21.
Why should Oprah?
So Reggie wanted to do a thing with me. He liked doing impressions. So Favre was the second biggest star on the team. And he comes up to me and goes, what are you doing? I said, we're doing a football show for Comedy Central. You want to do it? He says, well, what do I got to do? I said, just, fuck around. I'm not a journalist. We'll just have fun. So I could see he was had some trepidations about it. I thought I was going to maybe lay into him. But I said to him, so I'm fucking this girl in the ass, right? I mean, I'm holding it down. I'm fucking banging her. No rubber, no nothing. I ain't no pussy. And he starts laughing. He goes, are you allowed to say this? I go, we're not on satellite, man. I'm just trying to make you laugh. And then he got loose, and then we had a great interview.
When you did that, like, was the NFL in the same position it's at now? Was it just as popular? Still,
Yeah.
NFL's never dwindled, right?
No, it's gotten bigger and bigger, but it's
Bigger
really,
now?
It was the big football is by far the most. I mean, I don't know about NASCAR, but of the regular like athletic sports, football is football is so fucking big. High school football, college football,
Yeah. I think NASCAR is the biggest spectator sport, right? Isn't it?
I think
Well,
that's
they-
what I've heard.
Don't they have places like where they have 200,000 people or something absurd?
Well, you know what happens? Yeah, there's that. But you know what also happens is that, like, when you go down south, everybody knows about NASCAR.
Yeah.
Like, I was on the radio once in Atlanta, and they just started talking to me about
Right.
this, Kyle Waldrop and Neil Digger and this guy.
Yeah.
They did bringing up all these names I never even heard of. This guy won the Talladega. And I literally, I go, so what are you talking about? And they're like, we're talking about NASCAR. You don't follow NASCAR?
Yeah.
This guy does not follow NASCAR? Like, it was so alien to them that I didn't
Yeah.
know who any of those guys were.
It's
I heard about Dale Earnhardt. What about Dale Earnhardt? Is
Well,
he still doing it? You know, like you hear, like certain names like will escape from that world. And
I mean, I only know Tony Stewart because he was the guy that accidentally apparently killed that driver that got out of the car. You see that?
yeah, that was fucked. That
Oh,
was
man.
crazy.
What the fuck was he thinking to get out
The
of
driver got, well, Tony Stewart apparently clipped him with his car and spun him out. And he was only 20. He's a hot-headed 20-year-old.
Yeah,
He
but
got
getting out of that, jeez.
Amazing that Tony Stewart's going to race again.
He did.
That's nuts.
He raced again he came in like 41st. He came in. He
Probably
raced-
taking it real slow, huh?
Yeah.
You can't be a dick after you
Well-
run somebody over. Imagine if he just fucking balls the wall, clipping everybody now. Fuck you.
Or what if he's just a very safe driver now? He's like giving proper turn signals. He's like, I'm going.
Turn
that a
signals at
normal-
a racetrack.
Is that a normal position for him to be in? 40th place?
No, he's usually up there at the top. I mean, I don't know that much about it,
So I
but
bet he did try to take it slow, probably. It's probably
Well,
a
yeah.
real mind fuck, man. I
it's
couldn't
like
imagine it.
it's like Boom Boom Mancini after he killed Dooku Kim.
Yeah.
The guy shouldn't have been fighting,
Mm-hmm.
but Raymond was never the same after that.
No, it wasn't. It's one of those things, man. It's hard for guys. It's hard to also, for a boxer, you're dealing with your own mortality too.
Oh, yeah.
That's the fight that changed fighting from 15 rounds to 12.
Did it?
Yeah, he died in the 13th, I believe.
He had bleeding on his brain before he got in the ring.
How do they know that?
That's what I read. I don't know. They said that they had whatever he shouldn't have been fighting. The guy,
Well, I know that he was cutting weight, and that was also, I think, back when they would weigh in the day of the fight. But now they know more about weight cutting because Mancini was a lightweight, so that was 135 pounds. And I think that fight took place as a lightweight fight, I believe. He fought Livingstone Bramble. He fought a lot of great fighters.
He did.
Alexis Arguello.
he came to see me at the Improv one night, and we went out to talk, and his wife and his kid were watching a show, and some guy comes up to us, and they goes, Boom Boom Mancini. He goes, can I ask you something? Will you hit me? Right? And I said to the guy, I said, look, I said, he can't hit you. Raymond's a really nice guy. Did you ever meet him?
Said hi to him.
Really
never
good,
like,
really
had a
down to
conversation with him.
Youngstown, Ohio, like real cool guy, and did it all for his father. Great story. And I said, look, man, he can't hit you. Like Raymond's like, and they said, well, can I hit you then?
God.
To Raymond. I said, no, you can't fucking hit him. What are you, crazy?
Can I hit you?
He said, I always wanted to see what like a professional punch felt like.
Oh, God.
Like I like to give him an amateur punch.
Well, not only that, dummy, the guy's got to wrap his fucking hands and then put gloves on, then punch you, otherwise you could break his hand.
Of course. With the force that they hit.
Yeah, you could easily break your hand on someone's forehead. He's lucky he didn't say that to Vinny Curto. Vinny would have probably punched him.
Oh, God, Joe. I did a great thing with Vinny one time. Did I ever tell you this?
What? I don't know. Tell it to me first.
I brought him up. Okay, we had a crazy fucking nut cocaine head that lived upstairs, and they would.
Oh, you did tell me this, yeah.
They would fuck, and then you hear the shower, and it's like 5 a.m, and I stay up late, but after a while, I just said to him once, "Can you turn the music down just a little?" That's all. Nice, Next day, Kim's window was broken in her car. I knew he fucking did it, so I go get Vinny. And Vinny looked like a fucking, incredibly fucking gorilla, just killer.
Caveman, 100%.
And I get a kick out of him, and I like the guy personally. But he did me a favor. We go up, and it was like good guy, bad guy thing. And the kid opened the door, and the kid goes, "What?" And I go, "Hey, man, I just want to ask you." And he sees Vinny, and then he changed completely. And he goes, I just wanted to tell you that somebody broke a window, and as your neighbor, I want to warn you that there's somebody around here, so just look out for yourself. And I'm totally not really meaning this.
Right.
And Vinny goes, this is my fucking cousin. He goes, I love him like a brother. He goes, when anybody fucks with Dom, I get these fucking headaches. I don't even know what I'm doing. And the kid's going, and the guy goes, no, man, I certainly didn't do it. I go, oh, who the fuck accused you of doing it? Why would you say that? And then, right? And he goes, Vinny said, I sleep on his couch in the afternoon. Make sure there's no fucking noise. I'll go fucking crazy. And that was it, And
that stopped the noise, stopped everything.
Yeah, stopped everything. Then he'd see him at the gym. He'd see Vinny pressing 500 pounds at the gym. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? How's your cousin?
That's the problem with living in apartments.
Yeah.
I had a guy that lived below me that asked me not. I had a pool table in my living room. I bought this pool table and I rented this apartment specifically because it had a place for the pool table. This is the place that I lived in when I had to stay in L.A. The first place I moved in North Hollywood.
You signed the lease.
Yeah, I signed the lease, and that's what made me stay, and that's the reason why I got everything, news radio, everything. But I got this. It was a loft, and it had this big living room. And I was like, I measured it out. I could definitely get a pool table in here. I'll take it. I tell the guy this. The fucking landlord shows it to me. I'm looking for a place with a pool table. He was below me. So,
the landlord?
Yeah, not the landlord, but the superintendent or whatever it is. The guy who showed me the place. Wasn't the actual landlord. What are they called? Superintendents?
Yeah.
So he's this gay guy. He's a really flamboyant gay guy with his boyfriend, and after I put the pool table in, he knocks on the door and he goes, we're having an issue with you walking around. I go, you're having an issue with me walking? Just walking. He goes, well, the floor creaks. I hear you walking.
What are you supposed to do?
I go, okay, well, what do you want me to do? And he goes, well, between the hours of 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., could you just not do that? I go, so you're asking me not to walk in the living room? I'm not even doing anything. I'm just walking. And he goes, oh, so I see how the game we're going to play here. I go, the game we're going to play. I go, what you're telling me is the structural integrity of the apartment that you rented me is not good enough for me to actually be just walking in the living room between a 5-hour window every night when you get home to when you go to bed. That's what you want. He goes, yeah. I go, what the fuck is this? That's just crazy. You can't say don't walk. I go, what if I just walk around my pool table? If I don't play, I just walk in the living room. Like, if I have people over and they want to walk around, look out the window.
Yeah, you just have to roll or scoot.
How about I put a webcam over? You could tell when I'm walking and when I'm playing pool, so you can't get mad at me.
That's hilarious.
Fucking apartments, man.
How did you settle it?
I kept playing pool. Fuck him.
Yeah, I had a guy wouldn't let me do the treadmill. And I told him, I said, I'll do it any time that you're not there. I'll compromise anything. I moved it for him. You were killing me. You were killing my wife. I said, who the fuck invited you in this country? Go back to wherever the fuck you came from.
Tom, I can't believe you took it there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I hated the guy.
Why'd you have to go to the immigrant place?
Yeah.
Who brought you to this country?
Get the fuck back.
Yeah, who made you gay?
Well, the guy, like, when he said that to me, like, oh, I see the game we're playing, I was like, okay, there's no negotiating with you. You're a ridiculous person. I probably thought about it, like, probably didn't play as much.
Yeah, but it takes the fun out of it. Then you got to worry about some fucking nut downstairs.
It wasn't, the crazy thing was, it wasn't loud. It wasn't like I moved around, I heard, I didn't hear anything while I was walking. I didn't hear shit.
I've been in that situation where you hear every single footstep, and they had to end up putting carpet just to fix it.
Well, I had a carpet already. It was already carpeted.
So it was just
it was just a shitty building because the lady next door to me, super nice lady, but she would be on her phone, and I would hear every fucking word she said. Like, I was listening in on it. It was like there's no insulation in California. That's the difference between apartments on the East Coast and apartments on the West Coast is those fiberglass insulation or the stuff that they pump into the walls to retain heat.
Right.
They don't need that out here. So you got wallboard, stud, wallboard. You basically got a fucking notebook between you and some person who's talking like some pretty intimate shit. Every time she would get a phone call, I would hear her voice, her answering machine go on, and I would hear friends leave her messages.
That's not good.
No, it was ridiculous.
I always think about that if I'm watching porn and they hear it next door.
You turn it up really loud.
I just gave up.
Only when the guy comes.
I I stopped caring. There was just too many times where I'm just masturbating in my office and look over, notice my window's open. There's two people fencing in my backyard. I'm like, oh, you guys know.
Fencing?
Yeah, they just fence all day.
Who fences? In your neighborhood
My neighbors dress up as pirates and goth people and fence.
Fucking Burbank, man. Fucking white people in Burbank, they're fencing in your backyard.
They make their own costumes, though. It's pretty badass, but...
They do?
Yeah. But very glamorous, like they're kings and stuff, but pirates.
What?
I don't know.
So do they do, like, a part of a festival or something?
I think they must work at Universal or something.
Oh, so they're practicing their trade.
Maybe. But they also have those sewing things on, or those, things where you sew on in their windows. Like, when you walk by, they're just, look like people are just standing there.
Oh, like mannequins?
Yeah.
Those
But the
mannequins you
sewing
make dress ones?
Yeah.
That's, wow. I guess they make a lot of clothes.
Yeah, they
it's
do.
the economical way if you're going to play dress up. Make your own shit. It's probably more satisfying. It's probably when we were talking about eating the food that you kill. Right. Extra satisfying when you're out there at fucking Comic-Con with an outfit that you created yourself. We were in Sacramento this past weekend. I did the Punchline. You ever do the Punchline in Sacramento?
Long time ago.
Oh, what a great fucking club.
I
Oh,
love it.
Perfect club. Perfect size. Bar in the back. Low ceiling. Tight seated. Oh, we had so much fun there. But while we were in town, it was there for the UFC, and there was some sort of an anime convention. Like some sort of a dress-up dork fest. Yeah. It was hilarious.
Hair.
Just, what's that?
Lair.
Lair? What is that, the convention? What's Lair?
This shit.
What?
The
Is that the thing that I was watching in Sacramento?
Maybe.
How do you know? Are you just making shit up? That's not what they were doing. You're wrong. 100%. They were dressing like anime characters, you fuck. That's what Jamie's into. He's like, hey, pay attention to what I'm into. How about this? How about Renaissance Fair? We're not talking about Renaissance Fair, Jamie. Lair. This must be it. Get the fuck out of here. There's 100 million of those things. I love it, though. It's cool because dorks get an opportunity. They get an opportunity to hang out with other dorks, get outside, get a little vitamin D.
The Renaissance Fair? And all that?
Any of these things.
Yeah.
Well, this is an anime thing because
Right.
people were dressed up like superheroes and some people were dressed up like furries. There was like a lot of weirdness going on.
That came out of Japan, right?
Furries?
No, the anime.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anime is just pretty much Japan animation in their style.
You ever perform in Japan, Dom?
Your people.
No.
He's an Eskimo.
It's not funny. It's sad. You knew me when my eyes were open.
I knew you back in the day. I got a picture of Joey Diaz that I'm going to put on Instagram later today. I got his headshot that I found in my office that I used to have on the wall. It's from, he was like 220 pounds. It's crazy. Can't believe it's the same guy.
What's he weighing now?
It
300?
depends on how high he is when you ask him.
Yeah.
Listen, dog. He used to go on stage and he would talk on stage. He goes, listen, dog, I'm 45 years old. I got no time for this bullshit. I'm 50 years old. I got no time. Like in the same set, he would give you 3 or 4 different ages.
Remember we went through the fat blob? He's like, don't talk about it. It's just my little thing. It's just a little fat ball.
Yeah, he had a thing that he had to get removed from his like shoulders.
It was like another head.
It was weird. Yeah.
He told me he just
I
had a
love
knee
that guy.
operation.
I fucking love that guy. I
Oh, I
love him
do
to
too.
death. He's so much fun. There's no more fun guy to be around. Like when you bring him to shows, like everybody's funnier. The show's funnier. The comics on the show are funnier. You're funnier backstage. Everybody's funnier.
I love him too.
He's the
worked
best.
the Ice House with him. We co-headlined a couple times. What a blast!
So much fun.
I told you what he said to me, right?
What?
I said, Joe, I don't care who goes on first or second, whatever you want. He goes, Tom Irrera, tell you what. Why don't you close the first shows and I'll close the second, so you don't have to follow a fucking pig like me. and then you can do it. And then you can do it at Laugh Factory if you want. I said, Joe, you're not only doing me a favor, you're getting me spots at other clubs.
Yeah, he's a great dude. He is. His podcast is doing fantastic too, and that's one of the things that I really love about the internet. That a guy like Joey could be Joey. He would never. No one would ever understand him unless you saw him in the uncensored form, like on this podcast.
so
You'd never understand, or his
kept,
podcast.
He kept dosing that kid, his engineer.
He still does that.
What?
He still does that. You give him mushrooms the other
He
day.
gives him stuff. He doesn't tell him.
Who?
Joey.
What kid?
The
Who?
Flying Jew.
Who?
His little friend that always hangs
Oh,
out.
what is his name?
Lee.
Lee. Yeah. He doses him?
Yeah, he keeps dosing him like fucking like roofing him.
As long as he's not fucking him, I don't have a problem with that.
Well,
If you're around Joey, you know not to eat any of his shit. He dosed Bert Kreischer's dad.
I know.
He gave Bert Kreischer's dad edible weed.
It's crazy.
And Bert's like, "What are you doing?" and he's like, his dad is like, "Oh, I'm just eating some candy that Joey gave me." He goes, "That's not candy. I mean, it's candy, but it's not just candy."
Don't worry about Joey.
Listen, cocksucker, your dad's gotta live. Gotta live. Yeah, he's Tom Segura has a fucking hilarious story about the same thing that I said about getting high with Joey on the plane, where he's just throwing down these Chiba Chews. That Joey, in the middle of a panic attack, like ate another Chiba Chew. He doesn't give a fuck, man. He goes deep.
He's one of the funniest people I know.
He's back at the
Naturally.
Comedy Store.
Yeah. He said that it's been a good challenge, that he forgot how that room was, when you're on stage. It's
Well, they don't know you're there.
Yeah.
They don't know you're
not
coming.
there for Joey. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different kind of a groove. You got to develop material that, like, you set it up differently. You got to introduce it differently because they're not expecting you to be like this raucous, crazy, giant Cuban guy who's done a ton of coke in his life. You know what I mean? They don't know what he's doing. They just see a guy on stage, and then they have to slowly but surely be introduced to his ideas. What's going on there? Where they're trying to stop people from smoking weed?
We're at the Comedy Store?
Is that true?
There's
I
a
never heard
rumor
that.
that might be true.
How can you stop people
But
from smoking weed?
not the management. Where
are you going to stop
whatever, I
them?
don't
They
want-
could just go hide in the back.
That sounds like the dumbest idea ever. That's like telling football players to stop doing steroids.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
The Comedy Store? What are you going to do? Stop him from drinking too?
Well, it's just one
Nope.
person that wants to do it, and then he's not. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Does he have power, that one person?
No, I doubt it.
Who is it?
I have no idea.
His name rhymes with Pauly Shore. That's what I heard. I don't know. I don't go there anymore. I'm just talking out of my ass.
You're not going to go now?
I don't think so. I can't. I talked to Scotty. Scotty Shore is my buddy. I talked to him when I was down in San Diego. I was like, I have just too much of a bad feeling about that place.
I love when you come in for Breaking Balls.
I love doing your
It's
show.
fun,
Your show,
yeah.
The Laugh Factory. See, The Laugh Factory doesn't have any negative feeling to me, especially now. Now it seems like there's like a whole new crew there. It's a kind of a different sort of a vibe there.
But if you go to the Comedy Store, especially everyone that you've met through Desk, like Justin Martindale, Tony, Jeremiah, they're just everywhere now, and it's all positive. It's like a huge family, and when somebody from the outside comes in, it's like a whole family looking at that person.
Yeah, but that person that comes in doesn't want you smoking weed, and I'm gonna smoke weed if I go to the Comedy Store.
Well, we all do it.
What if you get banned from smoking weed?
I have a license.
No, you can't say I have a license.
smoke at the
I
Laugh
can smoke
Factory.
at your house.
Well,
You
Smoke
can?
weed. Well, upstairs when when it's private, just the acts.
Really? He lets you smoke inside, upstairs?
Well, he doesn't. Yeah,
I just like blowing it down on all those people. Get the show better.
There's glass now in between, so they don't hear you. You know.
Yeah,
The
that's
only-
a great thing.
Yeah.
The way he's got it set up there.
Yeah.
That's a
It's like-
sweet thing.
Other than when they're in between shows, like Friday and Saturday with the two shows, it's basically a club for the acts. We can relax
Well,
up there.
I don't mind going there. I like the Laugh Factory when I do it with you. It's got a good vibe,
Oh, I love it. I love
especially with you.
Thanks. We have fun. I always have fun with the interview.
Yeah, if you ever seen Breaking Balls with Dom Irrera, he does a show, he fucks around with the audience, does material, then brings up a comic, and then fucks around with the comic in between, and then brings up the next comic.
Really?
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. Because, Dom, you're at your best. Well, I wouldn't say you're at your best. You're always funny on stage, but I love the particular type of funny when you're just fucking around.
That's what I like too.
Yeah, like when we did the Kill Tony show at
Yeah.
the Ice House.
Yeah, we were crying laughing.
Oh, it was so fun. It was so fun. That was really, really, really fun. And for those comics, to get a guy like you fucking with them and, talking about their material. I mean, a lot of those guys, it was the first time they ever went on stage.
That's amazing.
Imagine that, the first
Yeah.
time you ever go on stage and you get a guy who's been doing comedy forever, has been on HBO, a legend in comedy, and he's critiquing your act. That's
He's busting your balls.
that's as good as you could ever hope for. I mean, that's a beautiful moment. The idea of Kill Tony is a great idea. That should be a Comedy Central show. You should totally sell that shit.
It
to
is a
Comedy
great
Central.
idea.
It's a great idea. Comics do a minute,
Yeah.
It's especially fun when we did it at the Ice House because the Ice House has such a good feeling to it.
Well,
you
that
know?
room is perfect.
Yeah. There's
The
two
belly
rooms.
room's good.
Just like the belly room.
Yeah.
About the same size amount of seats, right? Belly room's like 100 seats, 90 seats. So is that room with the Ice House has an annex. They have a big room, which is not a big room anyway. The big room is only like 190, 180, 190, something like
Yeah.
that. And then they have the smaller room, which is only about 80 or 90. And it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I like the main room. I think that's my favorite room because that's barely ever used. It used to be such a famous room.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
when I
like,
started there, they used
great
to
room.
sell three Saturday night shows out.
yeah.
But the main room, late at night, when there's only like 10 people in the room,
my
it's
God.
fucking sad.
Yeah, no, unless it's like Brody Stevens or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Sometimes.
I prefer those where it's just him.
I was in the main room once, back in the Joey Diaz days, where Joey Diaz had Jeff, Jeff the piano man.
Mm-hmm.
He had Jeff play Ozzy Osbourne, and he got on stage and took his shirt off, and he's singing War Pigs. He's singing it. Joey Diaz is singing it on stage, and it was fucking one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life because he's completely committed to it. He had no shirt on, and the audience is maybe there was 4 audience members, and the rest of the audience was all comics.
Right.
We were all just hanging out, and Joey Diaz is on stage, and they're fucking with the lights. No, it wasn't Jeff. It was the other guy who did the main room.
Mike?
Fuck, is that his name? Mike, the guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Yes, great dude. Who was in a band. No, the guy, he didn't have glasses. He was in a band. You remember that guy? He's like, what's up, dude? Hey, dude.
Yeah, he's still there.
What's his name?
Uh,
Shit. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I got the wrong guy. I was talking about Mike, who was the manager who played piano.
No. I know who you're talking about. The guy who handled the sound and the shit. No, it's not Jeff.
Danny?
Danny.
Danny. So Danny's playing War Pigs, and Joey Diaz is on stage screaming the lyrics to it, along with the sound that's coming over the loudspeaker, which is actually, Ozzy, and they're doing like the different colored lights, like Joey's on stage, and I just sat back, and we were all barbecued. We were all completely baked out of our mind. I sat back and laughed, and we were all just clapping, and it was such a pure performance.
Oh, that's great.
Because he wasn't trying to impress anybody. There was no one there to see him. There was no audience. It was just us having fun, and like I said, maybe 4 people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's some shit that only takes place at the Comedy Store.
That's why I love it.
Yeah.
It feels like you're just hanging out with your friends, getting wasted, and having fun and it's just playing around and doing silly shit.
And you would think, because it's the Comedy Store, that it would be packed all the time. Like it's got this
You can't get a
name.
better location.
No, you can't. It's got this name, Like when I was an open micer, we had heard about the Comedy Store. It was like Mecca. It was like I had always wanted to be at the Comedy Store. To me, like becoming a paid regular at the Comedy Store was more important than getting my first television show.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Because that was the spot.
Well,
that was
all
where
the-
Kinnison came from. That was where
Yeah.
Pryor came from. They all started at the Comedy Store. So when I was there, and I would show up. The first time I was there, it wasn't even half full. Like I was there in the OR, and like some terrible act was on stage. Some fucking singing nothing. It was dog shit. And I remember going, "This is the Comedy Store. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
Like, this place should." I would expect it to be like when you see Live on the Sunset Strip, like a line around the block. The who's who of Hollywood's there. The greatest comics in the world are all going up. Nope.
It was like that when I first went out.
What year was that?
85.
Was like that? What was it like? That was the Kinnison days, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I first went there, and I used to go on right before Sam at the end.
Wow.
We became friends. A lot of laughs. A lot of fucking laughs.
Did you ever do blow with him?
What's that?
Did you ever do blow with him?
No, I thought you said, did you ever blow?
Did he ever offer it to you?
No, he knew me. He knew I wasn't. See, the thing about Sam and I, could be friends, but I'm not a follower.
Right.
And I don't want to be a leader either. But I just rather just hang. And, I would never be part of his entourage.
Yeah, he had a whole cult of following, right?
Yeah, the Outlaws.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun together. I mean, we had a lot of laughs. I was always glad when he was there. I passed the first time I auditioned there, and then she forgot me. So then I had to audition again.
Wow.
But yeah, it was fun. It was amazing, you know, because I remember when Roseanne couldn't get on in the main room. You know,
She couldn't get on.
she couldn't get a spot in the main room.
What year was this? In 85 she couldn't? I thought she was already huge in 85.
No, she was probably later than 85.
Yeah, I always heard that right when she moved here, she got a show the same day.
Yeah, she was giant.
No, she didn't get it. No, look, I remember working in Vegas with her, and she couldn't get on. She was good. All she wanted was a spot in the first show main room.
Wow.
That was the money spots, because that's when we'd all make $400 or $500, which was a lot then, you know.
Right.
Being in town. I started out at the Comedy Store in Hawaii. I had a very circuitous route to
Comedy Store in Hawaii?
I did the Hawaii one with Barry Sobel and Carrie Snow. Then I went to La Jolla, did well there. Went to Vegas, and that went well. And then so I didn't really start doing the Comedy Store till I'd done like the tour.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
They had a Westwood one too, right?
Yeah,
was it
but
Westwood or
that was a little
Brentwood?
before my time. Westwood. It was on Westwood Avenue.
And the Westwood one was where Kinnison really like started out. That's where he really like developed.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And I took a friend of mine who's a priest. Was the reason I went in to see the room, and Sam was on, and my friend's hair was back standing up. I said, "It's not always like this." You know?
Especially back then, nobody knew who Sam was, and nobody saw that coming.
Oh, it was fucking incredible energy.
Yeah, that the Comedy Store had a whole like series of clubs, and now they're down to 2.
How many were there? Like, and they were all same people owned them.
Well, there was,
It's all Mitzi, yeah.
yeah,
Well, not the same people, the same one person.
All right.
yeah. Mitzi used to make a lot of money in Vegas, man.
Yeah. Why don't they have? Well, obviously now it's a mess, but I would think the Comedy Store in Vegas would be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
know?
What happened to the original one now?
They should. They should have.
They raised it because the Bellagio bought it out. That's where the Bellagio is now.
I would think that that would be a no-brainer for a franchise. I mean, improvs are all over the country. It's amazing that the Comedy Store never.
Yeah, the Improv
franchised
really
like that.
knew how to franchise it, and Jamie's doing it too
Yeah.
Yeah,
with Chicago.
and Vegas, right? You were just in the Laugh Factory.
I
in
would
Vegas,
take you to
right?
Chicago with me. I'm going there in October.
Buddy, I give you $2 to do a full weekend, but you'll be at Laugh Factory. It's a lot of money for Laugh Factory.
They really offer you shit money?
Allegedly, we're on the air. Allegedly, we're on the air. Allegedly, he got a bad deal. Allegedly.
Oh no, they fixed it.
I have no tact.
Nope. That's what makes you funny. If you had tact, it would get in the way of a lot of good jokes.
Thank you, Joseph.
It would, right?
Yeah.
Tact would fucking.
How much did he offer you?
Hey, easy,
come on
Dominic.
now.
What do we do over here? We just got done smoothing out your mess. Now you got a new mess.
I didn't know herpes could move to the butt.
I
You were
think
talking about earlier.
That
Herpes?
think that shut the fuck up. I think that Mitzi like had an issue with like the idea of franchising because they had to be Comedy Store comics, and if you'd franchise at a certain point in time, you'd thin it down.
You're gonna need more.
Well, you need 365 days a year. You know, she would have a 7-night-a-week show. And 365 days a year of good comics, and you're flying them out to Louisville, Kentucky. Good luck.
It's
no one's going to
impossible.
do a week.
No.
I mean, there's Vegas clubs, like, they used to do that at the Riv, right? You would do Monday through Sunday. You would do the whole week.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd have to stay for 7 days. Like, I would get calls from buddies.
Yeah, they didn't make me do that. I did Thursday through Sunday.
I just did Friday and Saturday. I did the late night shows because I couldn't do the regular show at the Riv. I could only do
I remember
their
that.
extreme
I remember
show.
That. Yeah, that. Yeah.
Extreme.
The warning.
Yeah, the
Think
extreme.
you and Slayton.
Yeah, thank God. I couldn't do it. I can't do Vegas for more than a couple of days. I love Vegas for a couple of
It
days.
was killing me.
How many days did you do this past one?
4, but I went in early and I came back late. And
So Wednesday through Monday or something like that?
yeah, that's when because I didn't want to fly in the heat. I
Right.
want to go to the airport. I can't fucking take that 110 degrees. I'm a very delicate artist.
What's your favorite place to work in Vegas?
Oh God, that's a bad. See, that's a bad question.
Is it a bad question? Why? Because you just work for Jamie? You don't want to tell the truth?
Well, you know what was fun?
Tact.
I can tell you what was fun. It was a fucking great job. Was I opened for Cher for years in the early '90s. We did the Mirage.
The Mirage is great.
They used to call me Easy Money because I would be at the sports book, and this is when I could still fucking jump. I'd hop over the fucking rail, just at 7:45 because everything starts on time there. Boom! I fucking slide across the stage, do 25 minutes, and then I'd go in the back, and the crew would be fucking with me. They'd have a chair and a towel and water. You okay, Easy Money? I'm all right, guys. I almost did 26 tonight. I went crazy. That was a fun game.
You say hop over the sports book. Were you betting?
Yeah.
So you'd gamble up until the moment you're supposed to go on stage, then you'd run in
Well, I
there?
wasn't a big gambler, but yeah, I would bet on games and stuff. I like to watch it. I like it to stretch out. I don't want to put everything on black and then leave a fucking loser.
Well, especially like if you're a sports fan, it makes the game more exciting, right?
Oh yeah, well it makes everything. I mean, that's what I love about betting football. Like with pro football starting tomorrow night, I fucking love it. I love the over/under. You know what the over/under is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that because, especially if you're rooting for the over, because you're rooting for everybody. It's all positive. Like the under's all negative. Don't drop that pass. Get that motherfucker. You know, it's like. But the over is fun.
Yeah, positive betting is better than negative betting.
Yeah.
There's a cheer sometimes in Vegas if you watch a boxing match. They'll have an over/under on how many rounds. A lot of people bet that. And then it'll hit the fifth round. Everybody goes, yeah!
Right.
Like there's a
Boxers
roar
are
in the crowd.
confused.
Yeah, and I think it was Larry Merchant that actually brought it up once during a broadcast.
Really?
Yeah, the reason why these people are cheering is because they gambled on it. Yeah, there's a lot of proposition bets like that. Like you could bet a bunch of fights, parlay, put them all together. If you get them all right, you get some insane amount of money. Aubrey is a big gambler. He always gambles in Vegas. He's never hit that shit yet. He's gotten close though. It's always one shit judge's decision fucks you up.
I can't get into it.
Gambling on fights?
Gambling on anything.
Why not?
Even slot machines and all that stuff, it's just for fun. It's not really like I'm addicted to it, or cards, nothing betting.
It's probably good.
Yeah.
It's probably good that you don't do that.
Yeah, I just don't want
Oh shit! It just hit me. I realized my favorite club to work in Vegas, Brad Garrett's club, because I'm working there in October. I can't believe it just hit me. Used to
Did
be
you
my favorite
forget?
club was the Tropicana, but now it's Brad Garrett's. I can't. I just had a memory loss there
For
a
real?
second.
A real memory loss? You always talk about Brad Garrett's. I was waiting for you to bring it up. I was
No,
wondering why. I
that's
thought
great.
you were out of reverence to Jamie.
Well, it gets
Buddy,
awkward.
my
Brad
club
knows
is
I work for Jamie.
better, buddy. Buddy, my club is better.
You got to see his club with these fucking chicks. They're so
Which one?
hot.
Brad Garrett's?
Oh my god, they got. Did you ever
Why
see
don't you
it?
book a weekend when I'm there for a UFC?
I would love to.
Brad
We
Garrett's
just
at
got-
MGM, right?
How often? Yeah, downstairs, the MGM. It looks nice. I've passed by it. I've never performed there.
Well, we did that once. Remember, we had a couple times. I was there for your fights.
Yes, but I never got to see you at Brad Garrett's though. There's a bunch of UFCs coming up.
All right,
So
we'll look
if,
at the dates.
How often do you go to Vegas? How often do you do it?
Three or four times a year.
What about January? You got anything booked in January?
Not yet.
The weekend of January 2nd. That's the weekend the UFC is going to be in Vegas. A lot of
Really?
great fights too.
Oh, I think I could do that.
Let's do it, Dom.
Let's do it. We'll
And you
hang.
can come during the day. You can see the fights start at 4.
Oh,
so
boy.
you could watch the fights from what's the first show at 8?
There's only one show.
What time is it?
I don't know.
If you could get them to do it at 10, that's the shit. Dumb. Get them to do it at 10. You can see all the fisticuffs. Then get over there with ample time.
And then eat mushrooms at 11.
What is it? It's at the MGM.
Sometimes at Mandalay Bay. Sometimes MGM. Those are the only two places.
I was at the Palm one time.
Yeah, they used to do it at the Palm. They don't do it at the Palm anymore. Dana White, he gambles too much. And he broke them. He fucking
Really?
smashed the Palm. Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, he smashed them. They banned him. When they banned him, he pulled the UFC out and they started doing the smaller events at the Hard Rock.
Wait, he was winning?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
He wins big money. He loses big money, but he gambles big money. He gets crazy, like $1 million a night.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know how you can do that and keep a pulse and not fucking
It scares me.
sweat all your blood out. It just seems like
It's-
it just seems like I would, if I lost $1 million in a night, I would totally quit. But he's won like 5 or 6 million.
Because it's not really gambling. You know what gambling is? If you have a guy who's about equal to you in pool and you play pool, that's gambling.
right.
But you're not, these fucking casinos wouldn't have crystal chandeliers if people were really gambling. The odds are set against them.
They definitely are set against you, but if you're good at certain games, like blackjack,
Yeah, there's more of a level field. I mean, certain things are fucking ridiculous. Slot machines.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Plus they're rigged. It's not even like it's a machine. Like they set them. They can set them to be
Yeah, they can-
easier or
right.
harder. Like they can decide whether or not you're going to win or lose. Like they could set it so it's one person wins a month.
I like
And
video poker.
do you?
Yeah, because you sit there, you get the drinks. Nobody, you don't annoy anybody. Like blackjack, it's always like, get your hands off the table, sir.
Not only
You're
that,
always
if
doing
you
something
bet
wrong.
crazy, people get pissed at you. I've heard people say that. Like if you're playing blackjack at a bad table and someone doesn't know what they're doing, they fuck up the hand.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
How could they fuck? I mean, I see what they're saying, but that's a weird way of looking at it. That they fuck up your hand. Like, what kind of a whack ass game are you playing, where someone else making shitty decisions affects you? They affect the card count.
Yeah.
They make the whatever.
The craps too. I don't even understand that fucking game.
That game's ridiculous. You got to know too much. Yeah, Richard Jeni used to have a bit about craps. It's a fucking funny bit too.
Really?
Yeah. About how he doesn't like certain games because like he likes games where nobody knows what the fuck is going on. That's what he had this whole thing about craps. It's a funny bit, man. He did that bit like on the Tonight Show, I think.
I never saw that. I used to love his ref bit.
Let's see if we can find it. See if you can find Richard Jeni on craps, and we'll end with this out of respect for our late friend, Mr. Jeni. He's a guy we've talked about 100 times on the podcast that he doesn't get enough respect.
Fucking great stand-up.
Oh yeah, man. When he was the best. When he like in the late 80s ish, somewhere around there, like 88, 89, he was one of the best in the country. But didn't get that sort of like the same respect like
You know what it
Kinnison
was?
did.
I think Rich is brilliant. I don't think he had the charisma that some acts that are not as good as him but get bigger than him because of
Is this it, Brian?
No.
No. Richard Jeni craps
Jalen
on
right
craps.
here.
Just but on craps.
That's what
Yeah.
I searched for. But this might be it because this came up as the second.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
January 6th through the 10th, please welcome Richard Jeni.
Worst dresser, huh?
Oh, he dressed like a guy who
Thank you
was
very
on a
much.
boat.
You're in a good mood, yeah? Me too. I'm always in a good mood around the holidays. I had a great Thanksgiving, boy. I was so thankful. Are you thankful on Thanksgiving? Yeah, look at that turkey, and I'm thinking, hey, life is tough, and you have problems, but nobody ever cuts a hole in your ass and fills you with mushrooms. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I didn't get away with that.
That's a real problem.
Jay Leno was
And
edgy.
who can mention problems without bringing up that model of self-restraint, President Bill Clinton? What a guy.
Bill Clinton.
Gotta give him credit. You gotta give the guy. I can't get my girlfriend to smoke a cigar. That guy's good. I guess the thing that annoys people is, you kind of want the president to be a hero, and it turns out, Clinton is just like every other stupid guy. He can't turn down oral sex. He can't. He can't. No guy can, because it combines the two activities no guy ever gets tired of. 1, sex. 2, not moving at all. The big 2. They can't believe it's happening at the same time. They're sitting there with a remote and a sandwich going, this is the big 2. I'm having sex. I'm not moving. I'm with a girl who can't talk. What's better than this?
I don't know if this is the craps bit. Hopefully it is, because we're going to run out of time here.
If Clinton does get impeached, though, you know who I think should be president? Hear me out here. Jack Kevorkian. You know why? He doesn't lie. This guy has nerve. Sends a tape of himself to 60 Minutes, ending a guy's life so he could get arrested on purpose. And if he's convicted, he's going to starve himself in jail as a protest. Now that is courage. That's commitment. That's a guy standing up and saying, hey, I don't want to live if it means I can't kill other people. That's nerve. That guy's got nerve. I mean, think about it. Compare it to, Bill Clinton commits adultery, lies and squirms and won't admit it to a single person. Jack Kevorkian commits first-degree murder and broadcasts it on national television. He's not the type of guy that would say, I didn't inhale, I didn't do it. Not him. He'd be on the White House lawn having sex with an intern and doing bong hits out of the death machine. And that's the kind of guy...
See how much time is left in this if it's got that craps bit in there.
We need, ladies and gentlemen.
They give it a little bump.
And now he's going to make the segue.
I'm happy if it's doing its job, but
A little
I'll
more.
See this? It was depressing how brave he was. Big
No.
farm axe pointed right at his crotch, and he goes, if you say...
Nope. Anyway, isn't that weird, that sort of Tonight Show type comedy where you have like 7 minutes, 5 minutes, you gotta sort of rush into every bit.
I hate writing those sets. Last time I did it was Jimmy Fallon, and I had fun because I like Jimmy and the band. But it's like They're so fucking
Was
contrived.
when he was doing his show or the Tonight Show?
His show.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's not real comedy. It's like a clip. It's like the difference between a preview to a movie and the actual movie itself.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I mean, there's no soul to it.
Yeah, you can't get deep. Everybody knows it's only going to last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You have a few minutes and you just wrap it up. That's over.
I've seen a couple of guys. I mean, Seinfeld was perfect for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Richard Jeni was really good at it too. 'Cause he's
Yeah.
a real good joke writer at it.
But Richard he flushed out bits so well that it took away from that part of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was his number one thing that he was really good at, and I learned that from him. Actually, I've talked about it before about how to really get the
everything-
most out of a bit.
Everything out of a subject.
Yeah. What is it?
Card table dating?
Card table? No, I don't think that's it. On craps, playing craps, maybe playing craps. It was an old bit, so all those looked like they were too recent for it to be him. No worries. It's over, folks. Fucking podcast's over. Dom Irrera, I love you to death.
Love you too, Joe. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Thanks. Anytime, my friend. And we'll do your show, Breaking Balls, at the Laugh Factory soon. And I'll put it up.
You got to
on...
come and do my podcast again, too.
I would love it. Can you keep Jamie Masada out of the room again?
I can keep him out of the room for you.
We did it one more time. One more time, keep him out of the room. Buddy, I love you, Joe. Why are you so mean to me, Joe? I love Jamie, too. He's a good guy. And he promises to pay Brian more money than
How much did he offer you?
No, it's
Hey,
great.
what?
It's fine.
This podcast is brought to you by Ting. Go to rogan.ting.com. Enter in the code word nothing, because I already said it. rogan.ting.com. Save yourself $25, you fucks. And we're also brought to you by Audible. Go to audible.com/Joe. Get your free audio book. We recommend Bert Kreischer's The Life of the Party. Get your free audio book and up to 1 free month of Audible service. The number one provider for audio content on the internet, audible.com/Joe, for a free book. And we're also brought to you, last but not least, by onnit.com. That is ONNIT. Use the code word Rogan and save 10% off any and all supplements. It's 72-hour sale, has 1 day, 18 hours, and 10 minutes. If you're, right now it's $5.51 on September 3rd. So if you get that, use the code word SEP, SEP72, and save 15% off anything. All right. We love the fuck out of you, and we will be back tomorrow. Oh, DeathSquad.tv, ShopSquad.tv for all of Brian's original artwork and T-shirts. All of it done by Brian, packaged by Brian, sent by Brian, all through Stamps.com, another sponsor. We'll be back tomorrow with the young and dangerous Tony Hinchcliffe. Until then, be cool with each other and spread love and give kisses. Mwah. There's one for you. See you soon. Bye.